estás atrasado. No, chicos, tenéis un pelín de delay. ¿Andas enfermo o por qué esa voz? Porque son las 7 de la mañana. Ojo la que se va a liar aquí, ¿eh? Te doy una más difícil. El pin, chicos. Hay que darle al pin, ¿vale? A este pin. Os da 5 puntos, ¿eh? Gratis. Guapo, poderoso, asombroso, buena fuente, buena gente, detergente. Bueno, esto que ya empieza. Vamos con los crazy locos estos, ¿eh? Vamos con los rojos. Atentos que llega Kenji. Saca la super, se puede lanzar. Llega Gale, la sopla. ¿Cómo la sopla Gale? Hoy estamos tontorrones, ¿eh? Bueno, que llega Gale, Gustavo Navo. Cuidado la sopladiña, muy buena. Se va a hacer la doble el cangrejo que llega. Ojito que tenemos a Moya, que tiene una gran importancia en la partida. No aguanto para ir al baño. Corre y caga rápido. Pero un saludo desde Guate. Un saludito, Guate. Me saludas, papi, patio. Saludito. Golito de los Crazy Raccoons. Ah, bueno, que tienen recompensas por conseguir las primeras cosas. Ok, primer golito que se lleva Crazy Raccoon. Por lo tanto, premio parece que se va a llevar. Toda la próxima colaboración será con los Rugrats. Pim, pom, pim, 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 pom, pim, pom, pim. Pim, pom, pim, pom, pim. Pim, pom, pim, pom, pim. ¡Wow! ¿Cómo la sopló? Dime cuánto te dio. 5 por 4. Pero vamos a ver, ¿pero por qué me dices a las 7 de la mañana que haga cálculos? Son cálculos muy simples, pero 20 más 9, 29.
It feels like CR just went for what is probably roughly the top 5 list of brawlers.
Es lo mismo de antes. Es 29 menos 5. Es 20. Es 24 otra vez. ¿Está volviendo loco? Solo apagaste el monto. No sé a qué te refieres, pero sí. Brawl Stars por Minecraft. Eso estaría guapo, ¿eh? Una actualización de Ben 10 es posible. O sea, eso sí que también estaría muy guapo, ¿eh? Ben 10. ¡Viva Soba! ¡Viva! Very, very quickly. Papi chulo. Papi chulo. Ha ascendido a Soba. Grande, Float Drumming. Gracias, tío. Soba, ¿te puedes poner abajo para ver bien, porfa? Me puedo poner donde tú quieras, compañero. ¡Squadbuster! Esto se hace así. ¿Qué tú quieres? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres? ¿Que yo me mueva? Eso es lo que tú quieres, mi amor. No pasa nada, yo me muevo, tío. Si tú quieres que yo me mueva, yo me muevo. Me muevo. Me muero, no. Modifiers. No se queda más por aquí. Qué golazo, ¿no?
Soy Daniel Monsalve, líder de la iglesia La Gran
Transformación
Comisión.
en directo, ¿eh? Esto es increíble. Lo que os enseño yo, esto no es normal. Transformaciones en directo. Golazo de Sakura.
Kenji nearly with the basic there to grab it.
Kenji nearly.
Super. Invisibility certainly going to help. It's already deadly with 3 brawlers, let alone 5. The guy in from Satampo. Now Suzuki with the gadget already.
Moya in the goal line. Vale, ahí os gusta más.
Wide open net and tie things up.
And you see they're trying to set up a goal-scoring opportunity behind that Sandy gadget. But Kenji wasn't quite caught out by it. The Gus was able to avoid the stun, at least defend for a time. But yeah, you can see how volatile this particular game mode can be. Navi get an edge, they start to take their map control, and they run it straight the heck down.
No le he dado al pin, no, me cago en la leche.
As well as a defensive option against that engagement mode. Kenji coming in against you.
Los cambios de balance se cargan a todo el mundo, tío. Seas quien seas. Cheto, muchísimas gracias por ese pin, tío. Perdón, es joda. MJ, te expulso, ¿eh? ¿Qué has dicho? ¿Soba para cuándo otro meneíto? ¿Cómo que otro meneíto? ¿Qué meneíto me he dado yo, tío? No lo sé. No me he puesto a calcular ya esta vez. Pero venga, gente, que vamos, que le damos. Soba, ¿me mandas un saludo a Guatemala? Claro que sí, un saludito. Vale, ¿cómo vamos? Venga, vamos, equipo de Crazy Raccoon, que vamos contigo. Quiero ganar la primera apuesta. Gale que le ponen el escudito, se le tira la rata. ¡Qué ratón! ¡Qué ratón, tío! Representando a todos los jugadores de Brawl Stars. En ambos equipos hay una rata. ¿Cómo representan? ¿Cómo representan? El balón que sale despejado para abajo. Kenji usando a Kenji. Ah, ya entendió el comentario de antes de alguien. ¿Te imaginas que Kenji utiliza a Kenji? Increíble. Ahí va la rata. Menuda rata. Qué ratón. Rata de 2 patas. Te estoy hablando a ti. Ojo, que llega el Darryl. Ah, que era 13. Pues agárramela que me crece, te falta calle. Vale, 0-1 el marcador. Digo 1-0. Tira Kenji, tira a Super, que no le va a impactar a nadie. Crazy Raccoon. A Chapi. Tensai. Moya. El de la gran responsabilidad en el partido. El pase muy bueno, la coge Kenji. Kenji que se queda libre de balón para intentar atacar, pero no puede. Cuidado, tengo hambre. Viene la rata, dispara y... Han ganado el set, estos, ¿no? ¿Por qué el 5 para 5? Porque Soba, tienes novia porque yo quiero ser. No tengo, la verdad, estoy soltera. Y entera. Crazy trolling, Oye, eso. Un saludo para Cartagena, pero ¿Cartagena, España o Cartagena de otro sitio? ¿Regalarán recompensas sin pregunta? La respuesta es... ¿Es esta, no? ¿O cuál es? ¿No me sale? ¿Cuál es la...? Ah, que puedes poner lo que quieras. ¿Qué modificador prefieres para el próximo set? Yo he puesto robot enojado. Podéis poner lo que os dé la gana. La mejor es la última. P031 Answer 5. XD. P0031 Answer 5. Ok. Un momento, gente, voy a mirar. A ver, ¿cuántos somos? 1400 en YouTube y 630 en Twitch. Os como la polla, tío. Digo el escroto, el escroto. Quería decir el escroto, ¿eh? Ah, digo, ajá. ¿Bebida energética o bebida energética? Solo descuido. El último modificador es del Bob Esponja. Pues estaría guapo, ¿eh? Mira, Crazy Raccoon se ha llevado 500 pavos, así, de free, por marcar un golito de primeras. ¿Cómo consigo cosas gratis? Haciéndome caso a lo que yo haga aquí. Justo en este sitio, ¿vale? Aquello, eso es el gameplay. Lo que hagamos aquí es lo que tú tienes que hacer. ¿Cómo puedo...?
Vamos, vamos. ¿HS? No sabía que tenías caspa.
No, no tengo. El nuevo HS elimina la caspa y la grasa y proporciona el doble de ingredientes protectores para prevenir que vuelva a aparecer. HS, hasta 100% libre de caspa.
Solo algunos de los míos pueden ser espiritualistas. No tenemos miedo. No tenemos miedo. Dominamos con los guardianes ancestrales de las tierras informes. Somos espiritualistas.
Move with displacement abilities like Gale Force. Can you push the robo towards your opponents?
Tengo que decirte algo.
Nos pedimos el combo y bebé sin límites por 7.99.
Que te dejo.
¿Que me dejas pedirme el combo y bebé sin límites por 7.99?
Otro pizzeño resolviendo sus problemas pidiéndose unas dominos.
Voy a leer la pregunta. Simplemente voy a pinchar siempre en la primera para que salga la correcta lo más rápido posible. Voy a hacer así. ¡Pa! ¡Pa! Siempre la primera, siempre, siempre la primera. Y entonces así vosotros respondéis la correcta. Esa es la idea.
You have unreal amounts of sustain, and you have insane mobility because, of course, his attack pattern is like a dash forward and then like an arc slash, and it always alternates 1 and 2 unless you have a gadget that just lets him dash sort of the next 3. So he covers a lot of ground. His super is very hard to predict where he's going to land, and it has very wide range. So he's just very good here, especially when he can farm, you know, multiple supers if people are clumped up. It's 5v5. That brawler, normally we don't talk about new brawlers much because they get perma-banned when they, you know, come into rotation for esports. But Kenji's here to play it, and I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
No, I mean, why not? Throw the newest brawler in the mix. It's the September spectacle. I've had the opportunity to play Kenji a bunch, and I think he's pretty darn insane in the game, to be honest with you. I think he would cater to 5v5 really well. The healing factors that you mentioned, too, and if you add the shield and gadget combination, it's pretty insane. If you time it just right, he's going to be able to absorb back so much health. If he dives in, takes a bunch of damage, you pop that gadget to perfection, you're going to be able to heal a ton. Obviously, his regular shot, his super shot can get him a lot of those health points back, too. So there's just so much damage that he can put out, and especially in a 5v5 situation where there's so much gunfire coming your way, you need opportunities to be able to sustain yourself, and I think that's something that he's going to be able to do excellently here, as if he didn't already do that in 3v3.
And a reminder, of course, you at home voted Crazy Raccoon as the team that you felt was favorited. I felt that. I agreed. I also voted for them, but Na'Vi stole away that last Brawl Ball map. Now, remember, folks, this is a best of 3. So it could be over after 2 Brawl Ball sets here. You had best hope that Crazy Raccoon, with a new draft, have come up with a different strategy. Of course, Cool Shapes is the kind of map you sort of spawn diagonally. Those bushes, of course, appear at sort of different intervals here. Wow, very different ballers here. So seeing a Lily brought in. Both teams are going for the Melody as well. Tensai maybe fancies the nest egg to interrupt the ball carrier, I guess. A little more defensive here from Crazy Raccoon.
This is really interesting. I mean, like I said, teams are going to be kind of figuring this one out a little bit. Bell was the one that stood out to me, but I think the Melody just makes so much sense. I know Melody's not at her strongest spot in the game right now, but similar to Daryl, right? The mobility is crazy. 3 supers in one. Just being able to dash from one side of the map to the other in the blink of an eye, I think it's going to be a huge difference maker.
I also think that Lily, very powerful. That flourish, of course, allows her to close the gap instantly. Also, you know, she can either like throw her super like with the repot gadget, or of course go into the Shadow Realm and pop up out of absolutely nowhere. But sometimes like going to the Shadow Realm here can be dangerous because you're not pulling someone down like Cordelius does. So you are putting your team at a player disadvantage for a brief window, and you can't control when you come out of the Shadow Realm. You are there for 3 seconds. So you need to be careful about how you want to use that. Either way, Shitapo goes in, Melody, yeah, having big impact early.
Oh, I mean, he's just going to break away. He doesn't have an angle, though. You can see those 3 little spots right there. The ball couldn't quite slide through. I love having these random snowmen kind of blocked away. Even though the goal is super wide, you either got to break those to make it a little more perfect of a goal mouth for yourself, or you just got to know exactly where they're at, and little things like that can make a difference.
Shitapo, unreal. That was a 1v2 down on the bottom part of the map. Able to get past Suzuku and slot that goal. The goals in 5v5 Brawl Pool are very, very big, so you can't let your opponents get too close. Shitapo pops the gadget, gets plenty of shielding from those notes that are orbiting, and Achapi has struggled. Still not level 2 yet on this Clancy.
Gonna need that desperately. The long range coming in from Tensai. He's popped a hypercharge dealing with somebody on the backside. Meanwhile, Kenji is fighting a ranged battle against Moyogoku. I feel like dropping the Gale doesn't make as much sense to me. I feel like it's the ultimate defensive brawler, and it's a free goal if you can get a stun like that. Now Suzuki with the breakaway, though, moving down the map. Unfortunately, the robot has been right in front of their faces. It's gonna be closest to CR, though, so they're gonna have to deal with this, putting in a ton of damage. I mean, that thing had 40,000 plus HP.
I mean, it couldn't have gone any worse for Crazy Raccoon. The robot appears in their goals, essentially, and they can't get far enough away from him. It's just too much. It's too much to handle. And Levy able to score here for Na'Vi. That bot is also going to go for Crazy Raccoon again because it's still on their side of the map.
Thankfully, its HP is way lower now, but now they're going to have to prep for the next one. Moya with a pass over. Suzuku diving in, a pushback coming from Moya, but he's all alone. Kenji has the ball. They're working with it, put in the corner, and Navi have somehow come away with the win there.
Oh my God, that robot is so nasty. Surely he would spawn in the middle of the map.
Nope.
Yeah.
6v5.
Oh, so I thought it might it might advantage the losing team, because obviously if the bot spawns in the middle of the map, it's going to be closer to the team who has the ball, or at least pushing up on the map. But my God, things went from bad to worse for Crazy Raccoon there, and Na'Vi take that first round. I mean, I know the stakes aren't nearly as high here for Tensai, who of course knows he's already booked his spot at the World Finals, but I'd be a little cheesed by that.
Oh, it's hard not to be. I mean, they scored such an early goal, and then just to have a 50,000-ton robot just steamroll over you. I mean, it's got to be a little frustrating. They're competitors at the end of the day. Money on the line, still good fun, but a lot of competition here. You want to be the only team to ever win a 5v5 tournament.
Again, they got the bounty, though. That's what is important. They're going to be happy being able to sort of walk away with that one. Obviously, they'd love to advance a little bit further here through the bracket, but the pricing is different. It's, you know, we're not pricing that heavily from, I think, 2nd through 4th here. You do, of course, get a bonus if you win the whole thing, folks, but so obviously that is something they want to do, but there's a lower bracket. Crazy Raccoon can obviously still make their way through. We haven't had a lot of double elimination here in the BSC outside of the qualifiers. Here comes Levy again, though, going to pop out of the Shadow Realm here. Right on top of Yumegoku, is able to use a phase shifter to get away, and the Lily gets picked off.
Tensai just casually tapping, by the way. The bounce shot actually very effective for kind of some crowd control and extra damage here, something I didn't initially think about. Thought about the super and the nest egg, like you mentioned. Here comes the robot. This time it's paying Navi Nation a visit.
All right, he's popped up here, going to be going straight after Kenji. Mameshi just gets flattened here. Levy going to use a super shot. Oh, have they done this? That is so classy. With the bot nipping at their heels and everything, Navi still able to score a goal. Now Crazy Raccoon have to give that bot, a little bit of respect. They're back up now, so we will be targeting Levy, who will have to deal with it.
Love the teamwork there. Multiple super passes to get it across the way. Suzuki going for the dive. Couldn't quite grab the ball. Now Satampa with an opportunity to match this, though. Does have supers available. Tensai Sakura rounding this out with him as Levi looks to play defense. Some shotgun going down from Daryl. A dive in CR with the shot.
Oh, you're kidding.
There's the teamwork from CR.
That was an insane gale force there to make sure Navi could not defend that shot. They are locked in right now. Levy into the Shadow Realm, going to pop up straight away. Blown up by Satampa instantly, though, and Mameshi also is going to fall. This is Navi down to 2 players. They're getting absolutely wiped. And Satampa, no one's catching this guy. And it gets it over the line before the defenders can get there. and Crazy Raccoon have fought back in the series.
These goals are something else. I mean, ball control's very important in 3v3, obviously, but I feel like in 5v5, it really is a race to get the goal first. If you let it drag on too long and give your opposing team a counter opportunity to push forward, especially considering we have brawlers like Melody, Daryl in the mix, they can get across the map so quickly. It really is a battle at the beginning, grabbing that ball initially, I think, and then just pushing it through the back of the net. That's why I like having something like a Gale here, why I mentioned Sandy earlier, just those opportunities to get yourself a free goal. They need to happen.
Here we go again. Crazy Raccoon obviously able to hang at least in this series. Able to win that last round. Levy wants to push up here. Suzuki sends the ball to the top of the map here. They want to take some control. Levy's gotten deep, so maybe they're hoping to set up here for this Liddy to make something happen. Levy's just clearing the map, making sure those corners of the goals are unobstructed. The ball could be shot through them. Here comes the super from Yumagoku, but Suzuki able to dash away. Pops that gadget straight away, but Chitampo is ready, and here's Mr. Bossington. Oh, it doesn't matter. Moya's still able to get that goal scored just in time.
They need to score that goal early because, unfortunately for them,
Oh, God.
to be right on top of their spawner. I think this is honestly a good play. Look at Tensai marking that thing up. This might be a big brain pick out of them, trying to bring that robot down earlier in case they need it, and that's exactly what happens for them.
Yeah, proper smart. That is, Moya can defend the ball, essentially cornered on this map. Achapi, yeah, you knew you weren't going to be allowed to hold on to that ball for very long, son. Suzuku here on defense, but it'll be passed back over to Tensai as a super shot. Oh, you're kidding, bro. There's one snowman to block it. Crazy Raccoon, though, have evened up the series now.
That single snowman could have been a real MVP of this match if that didn't go in. Uber tied up now, though. Little smile on Tensai's face, cracking, knowing that probably didn't even know it was there, to be honest. It blends in the map quite well. I've definitely had my moments where I'm lobbing up a super shot on maps like that, and just it bounces back, and I'm a little confused why. It's because there's random boxes or elements inside these maps that can block them. Some of the replays coming in from that set, though. I mean, Levi with a little dive in. These teamwork plays, though, were something special to watch. I think just the tag teaming effect, obviously Sitampo into Moya's pushback. A little bounce on there, too. Multiple flashy goals out of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that from Navi as well, like how they basically went coast to coast on this map on one occasion with a bunch of super shots. This one here, I mean, Chitapo, the timing was good. The cornering of the ball here at the bottom of the map, because the bot had spawned in Crazy Raccoon's midst, basically, as they'd come back into the game. Could have been a big problem for them, but on the fly, they decide to, stick the ball in the corner, deal with the bot, then come back to play. And I think they left Moya there just defending it as that gal. Really heads up play.
Y bien, chicos, en este video tutorial quiero enseñarte a cómo mostrar todo el chat de YouTube en tu transmisión. Efectivamente, así como lo has visto en algunos streamers que están allí transmitiendo la transmisión de a cómo darle los. Y bueno, chicos, haciendo una pausa en este video tutorial, quiero invitarte a que visites mi canal, que disfrutes y aprendas de todo este contenido, pero que también miren que aquí al lado derecho pues, va a llevar a una página como apenas ustedes le den aquí transmitir en vivo, los va a llevar a una página como esta, donde ustedes van a empezar a configurar entonces pues el nombre, toda la configuración, ¿cierto? Y miren que aquí al lado derecho a ustedes les aparece como el tema del chat, ¿verdad? ¿Qué debemos hacer con eso, chicos? Primero, debemos aquí nosotros sacar.
What should we expect from gem grab? We've got no modifier here, so it's going to be just honest gem grab action in a 5v5. Do we have like, do we have like side lanes? Are we still having like a mid, or are we just running at each other?
It's a little bit of passive-aggressive for sure. I mean, it's going to play out like a normal gym grab map. I've messed around with the mode just a little bit. Some maps are going to have multiple spawners as well. You got to keep that in mind. It's not necessarily a count to 10 anymore. We got to get to 20 now across 5 different players. One takedown in this mode can be absolutely devastating. Imagine having 10 gyms spilled. Well, what if it's 15? What if it's 20? It's nearly irreversible to come back. It's a really, really fun mode and map to kind of see played out here. I believe we're going to Cold Pond Quarry as well. So there's a few walls. There's a huge body of water in the middle too. So could be seeing something like the Angelo come out if they want a quick get out of jail free card to bounce away and also travel over that water. A lot of interesting things I think could come out here.
Of course, our first bounty of the night was already claimed pretty quickly by Crazy Raccoon. I got to select it, lucky me, and I said the first team to get a goal in Brawl Ball would end up winning it. So despite losing that set, Crazy Raccoon still walk away with an extra $500. And of course, in the next series, there will be another bounty chosen by us. The cast says, we'll let Ready do it next, I think. And yes, and that will obviously add a little bit of extra incentive, put a little bit more up for grabs in that game. So gem grab coming up. We are, of course, our draft process obviously doesn't work on sort of bans. I'm pretty sure we're just locking our brawlers in and going for it. It's why you see some of the strongest brawlers in Brawl Stars on the same team. But here's Cold Pond Quarry, folks. Again, a lot of obstruction on this particular map, right? You definitely do have that cover to play through in the northeast, southwest of the map. But again, expect to see a lot of those brawlers that are very powerful in general in gem grab. Strong side laners, good range, maybe some throwers mixed in there as well.
Yeah, I think some throwers and range make a lot of sense for this particular map. I'm interested to see if we get the Kenji. Looks like Navi didn't make the purchase, so it's going to be CR as the only ones running it here. Sandy was somebody that came to mind. Larry Laurie was somebody that came to mind. Love seeing the Mortis, so the fun side of it. And honestly, after seeing Bell, I think I am a pretty big fan of that brawler just in general for the crowd control feature of having the nest eggs plus the damage amplifier for those quick kills, and then just being able to bounce those shots around. I think that's kind of a good blend of everything here. Gale, I feel like, is almost nearly a must. It's just such a good way to play defense, offense. He's so good in the game right now. And love that they pick out the Angelo here. I mean, like I said, there is a function of water right in the middle here. You can travel across the map more quickly, and he's the only guy that's going to be able to occupy that space.
Yeah, also Mortis versus Kenji here. Mortis being the brawler that's been most often compared to Kenji, I think, in terms of just being a high mobility, up close, in your face brawler. And again, there are 2 gem wells on this map, folks. A big difference here at 5v5 gem grab. So we're going to see which team can control them both as effectively as possible. A champion with that super is able to drill one through Shitapo, but Levy falls elsewhere on the map here. Navi with a 3-2 lead. It's narrow, but they're extending it as we go.
And 2 gyms, so there's going to be multiple spawners. You're going to have to occupy both sides of the map if you really want to take an advantage. Obviously, one of them closer to your spawn side than the other. You got these little L-shaped walls on the side. There's a lot going on, and a Sandy super invisibility is certainly going to help that. Love the cutoff point there as well, using the Twister to keep them at an arm's distance and give CR just a slight lead.
Great super there from Levy, gives enough health back to actually just basically deal with Shitampo, who cycled a couple of supers there and it's been pretty hard to catch. He tries to dash away, but Crazy Raccoon controlled both gem wells for quite some time and also made Navi drop their horde. Levy, going to get caught instantly by the Gale Force there. Yumagoku able to shut the Mortis down. Shitampo going hog wild on the left-hand side, and both sides are using Gale to shut down those high mobility bruisers. But 17 gems and counting here for Crazy Raccoon. They've been in control of so much of the map for so long. Chapi's limping away. Levy, no chance there. Tensai able to bring him down as Shitampo uses his super to avoid any damage, and the countdown has begun. 12 seconds left here for Navi to get these gems. Most on Moya. Sakura as well, I think. The Mo looking to give a lot of ground here. Levy's looking for a way in. Shitaba's going to try and run a bit of interference here. Dive towards Kenji now. Yumagoku a little bit low, but Sakura and Moya walk away with the lion's share of them. Crazy Raccoon take that first round.
And they're going to be on match point themselves. Navi with 2 opportunities in the previous set, but CR could reverse it. As much of a reverse sweep as you can get, I would say, in the best 2 of 3 for this game mode. But with multiple objective points, it's really difficult to maintain control of the entire map, and that's something that CR did instantly. I think Kenji is just a problem to deal with. It felt like we constantly saw Shitampo just cycling in supers, and every time he does that and makes a connection, he's healing, he's staying invincible, and then returning to the point of where he initially started. It's a crazy brawler that can do some crazy things, and he's on a crazy player. I expect him to be just insane on this map.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think the nest eggs are pretty powerful there as well, meaning Navi basically instantly get blown up. In 5v5, when you get slowed out in the open, you're basically done. Back to spawn with you. Kenji, nowhere to go here. Crazy Raccoon collapse on the right-hand side of the map. They give up the left here, but Sakura still able to take 3 gems despite this, and that's the mark connecting on the Levy, meaning that Sakura and Moya can deal with the Mortis. Suzuka, though, still looking healthy. Tensai eventually gets caught out as that arrow comes through the tree line, but Shitapo has super. Might have to use it to limp away with here. But Yumagoku and Sakura, plenty of gems between them here. Tensai has to be a little bit careful now, being dove on by Levy, but has the stun gadget to stop the Mortis.
Levi climbing up the map there, putting in some serious work. Still a 12 gym count for Crazy Raccoon, but Meshi going to be able to float around a little bit, mess with the mid. So Tapo with 3 gyms on his head, and he's already got a super
si no participo mañana, igual conseguiré el pin. No lo sé. Un ladrillo. Hombre, es verdad que un ladrillo es rojo, bueno, naranja, y es malo para los dientes porque te los parte que flipas, ¿eh? Ojo la que
To
está
defend him, and
liando.
Rameshi gets picked up in the middle of the map. Angelo not giving nearly as much space to roam through that watery area as we first thought.
Low rotation coming in from Kenji. 5 gyms on his noggin, rotating to the right-hand side. Gale's fighting on either end, and the mid still occupied by Mameshi. He's the only brawler that can use this entire mid-section as a rotation point. Lobbing up shots at the wall. A nice stun coming in, but red team gonna get the countdown.
Dangerous here. Sakura and Moya both with a lot of gems. Chitapo on the Kenji usually doesn't want to be diving on in here, but needs to hold on to all 4 of these. Great defensive play so far from Crazy Raccoon, though. Tensai wants to try and move up again, able to throw that Sandstorm down. There's no way Navi could put a scratch on them. And Crazy Raccoon take the series with a win here on Gem Grab. They got everything. They got the bounty. They got the series. They'll advance in this upper bracket.
Wow, wow, wow. They ended up winning it all. I mean, they got the bounty. They're going to be advancing in the upper bracket. Big smiles coming out from Tensai, as he should. Things were looking bleak early on. Double match point, yet the fellas really locked in, made Brawl Ball happen in set number 2, dealt with the adversity of a giant robot running at them, and then just took care of business here in set 3.
Yeah, I felt like it was the worst possible time that bot could have first spawned for Crazy Raccoon, but they eventually developed a strategy to deal with this. Navi want to try and control the middle part of the map with the Angelo, whereas Crazy Raccoon make use of that Sandy. And my God, it is very, very powerful to be able to play from stealth and, of course, line up anybody who sort of steps in. Not a whole lot Mameshi could do at the best of times here. Shitapo's so good at closing the gap on that Angelo. So much to work with. We can just see why Gale is so powerful. Just being able to displace enemy brawlers is something that you can't go without, especially on a map type that really requires you to be able to step up, to be able to contest those gems and take them away. Nicely done to formulate a 5v5 gem grab strategy on the drop of a hat for Crazy Raccoon and a well-earned series win.
Very impressive stuff, and we kind of got a taste of what we might be able to see the rest of the night. I'm still waiting for Knockout to show up. I think that's going to be a really fun mode that you guys will love. I'm as big of a Brawl Ball fan as any, though, so the fact that we got 2 sets of Brawl Ball does make my heart a little bit happy.
That's it. We've seen our first semi-final here. Thank you for joining us so far at event.brawlstars.com. Stay on this channel because we've got more to vote on coming up after the break. It's going to be our second semi-final. Rival takes on Angelic, so don't go too far.
Series Brawl Stars Championship is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Venga, venga, me sacrifico. Es el 4, el 4.
Welcome back, folks, to the Brawl Stars Championship September spectacle, powered, of course, as always, by the Snapdragon Pro Series. We are back on the other side of our first upper semi-final of the day, seeing Crazy Raccoon advance over Na'Vi, but another chance still for Na'Vi. They'll be in the lower bracket awaiting their opponent. Bringing Ready Set back into the booth. What's up, man? Obviously, you got to sit back and watch that utter chaos ensue. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think we'd see 2 Brawl Ball maps back-to-back, but that's what happens when the people vote on our first map type.
The people have spoken. The people want Brawl Ball. Everyone gets a little bit of input. This is, as you said, what happens. And you know what? I agree with the people. I was actually one of them for the first set. I voted for Brawl Ball. So I'm very pleased with how these votes have been going so far.
What do you think about our modifier that we got? Was it the best one possible? The Robo definitely had an impact on the game. Ready Set definitely feel like made a difference.
I do think so. I think in a high mobility mode like Brawl Ball, you are often going in a direction that is away from the robot. But we're going to get to explore some of the other modifiers in our upcoming match, which is going to be a brand new set that I actually do prefer over the first 4.
Okay. I'm very curious to see what you guys at home want to start picking here. Again, I think we only put 5 out of the 9 up for selection, so we're going to keep it fresh for you. We're going to rotate it in. You don't need to worry about the same modifiers being chosen every single time. There's tons to delve into. And I think half the challenge is casting. I don't know if... Kenny, did you do any 5v5 casting practice when you came in? You're the kind of guy who would. If anyone does, you would.
I'm a little hurt that you said that.
Why?
Being prepared should be a compliment. No,
you are so diligent
before. But I kind of just wanted to go in this blind and kind of have some fun alongside all the fans at home. I think that was kind of a backhanded compliment. I'm gonna take.
No, that's not backhanded. Listen, folks at home, Kenny is very diligent and hardworking.
6 partidos significa mínimo 4 de entre 5 y 6 horas. De entre 4 y 6 horas. Me parece mucho, ¿eh?
Move that over, folks. Let's start talking about our next matchup here. We haven't seen from Rival in quite some time. They really impressed us in the APAC region. Milkryo, Shu, Melty, a very, very strong team. And they picked up Ryohei and Kuru onto their roster. And if you remember these two, they were on that FA Nidug team who had some pretty insane going. I think they lost in a 5-set series in one of our monthly finals, in one of the grand finals. So they really sort of went all the way. Yeah, that's right. I think it was in June they lost to Rival. That's right. So that's kind of fun. Rival bringing them back into the fold. And Ready Set Angelic, of course. Combination of Team Angelic and a couple players coming in from that Coco.
Pero yo he votado Rival Esport y ahí veis los porcentajes. La gente tira por Rival Esport, pero también podría ser perfectamente.
Milkryo, Shu, and Melty. And as mentioned, they are joined by Ryohei and Kuru of FA Nidug. And they have their own resumes that I don't think got highlighted enough over the course of the year since they were kind of outshone, obviously owing to the fact that they didn't make it to the postseason. But Kuru in particular, a world champion on their side. When we look at Angelic, though, this team, interestingly, is composed mostly of non-Angelic members. They got Sago and Geki from the usual roster, but then they got the whole darn Coco Loco squad.
That's right. Yeah, that's pretty great to see. I think this is like mostly, we have a number of players from here. So yeah, actually not a big mix-up. So we've got a bunch of different regions represented amongst this team in here. We've got Singapore, I think we've got Macau, and of course Hiroshi, I think it hails from Malaysia. So great little Southeast Asia mix here. And again, both Angelic and I think Coco Loco have had some great showings this year over the course of APAC. I mean, Coco Loco winning a monthly final, that I think is a big deal. Angelic starting strong, but ending up looking a little bit disappointing and then failing the qualify for the LCQ by one singular circuit point. Definitely, it's a little bit different, but they're here, they're ready to throw down and compete. And like we've seen, it's anyone's game in 5v5, Kenny. It could go either way. We're going to start talking about modifiers here. We're going to have them up for voting in our first map of this series. It's going to be, I think, that bottom line. So Meteor Shower, Super Bushy, Supercharged, Top Dog, and Unlimited Power. Kenny, what do you want to see? Would you like to influence the voters real quick?
Ooh, now, we get a say in this. I forget that we get to make decisions here. I think the Supercharge could potentially be interesting. Top Dog's kind of funny to me. Just the idea of a bunch of pro players running around eating some hot dogs, kind of funny. I think I'm going to click the Supercharge button here. I kind of just want to see what happens.
Give me Meteor Shower. I want to see that.
I think that would be the most chaotic if we got Meteor Shower.
I think both of you meant to say Top Dog to go vote for Top Dog. So I'm telling you all now, please vote for Top Dog.
No,
I need to see the hot dog.
I think we're going to Knockout. So that could be interesting. But come on, Knockout with Meteor Shower, I feel like
that's just cruel.
Be...
You're already fighting demons. You don't need to fight the terrain around you.
Yes, no, all you have to do is keep moving. That's hey, these players are going to be doing that anyway, right? We're dodging a bunch of shots. It's going to be busy. The APM is going to be at an absolute maximum. That's where my vote is going here. So we're going to tally those votes for you in just a moment. And we're going to let you know what our modifier is for this Knockout map coming up in this series. I think you have like a minute or so. We'll give you a little bit of extra time. Meteor Shower's a winning one, by the way. Yes, baby. Let's go. Thank you very much, everybody at home, for picking the one up I wanted you to pick here. I think it had like at least 36% of the vote. So good on you guys. Event.brawlstars.com if you're wondering how people are choosing these. Over there. Nicely selected. Very, very quick fingers, I think, nailing that in. So, is this going to be that different? I mean, let's talk, before we get there, let's talk bounty. We said Ready Set could choose the bounty. So, for Knockout, you will be choosing one of these bounties.
Yes, I want to see the player that stays alive the longest. That one is just more entertaining to me. personally.
Especially with Meteor Shower, yes.
Yes, well, because as Kenny said, you're not just fighting your opponents, you're fighting the environment too. But also keep in mind what makes 5v5 Knockout special is when you have fewer members remaining on your team, you gradually get powered up. It's basically like fighting the big brawler if you manage to get all the enemies taken down except for one, just one Giga Brawler to fight. And if you do manage to survive through that, then I do think you deserve a little extra cash in your back pocket.
So again, virtually this is just the winning player, right? It's probably
This is true.
It could come down to one, but in the event when you win the round with 2 players up, I guess we still need to track how long they stay alive into the next round. So I'm not keeping track of it, so I don't mind. But that is definitely something to sort of bear in mind. We are going to have to keep track of that for you. We will let you know who is able to win that bounty out when it is achieved. You hear a cha-ching sound. I'm pretty sure we have that set up. So on top of that, we also need you to vote for who you think is going to win the darn game. That's right. You can get your predictions in, or hopefully you still have that chance to do so if you haven't done so already. Rival Esports or Angelic, the team that you think will advance through the upper bracket to take on Crazy Raccoon, of course, in upper final. We'll be jumping in, of course, to talking about the team's picks, but I think we were a little split. I think Brady said, you said Angelic, right?
I did say Angelic, and this was based off of a recent tournament, okay? It was the Rival Cup September Finals. This took place last week where we saw Rival Esports go out in a double elimination 2 matches in a row. They lost to 3R Gaming, which is a team that Angelic actually beat. And then also keep in mind that the team that won this entire 8-team bracket in double elimination style was Nidug. And guess whose members are also going to be playing here?
I see. On Rival. I like that. Yeah, 2 Nidug players on that. They were good, right? They were really, generally, but like, they were also like, I think they were the team that knocked Navi out of a monthly qualifier in that month that they just appear. They didn't, because they missed the first month. They just won a team at that point, I think. Then they came through, looked really good. Then they didn't qualify, so very, very hard to follow. Milkray on your camera here. Again, this is a team, I think, Rival, when we get to see them on camera, pretty animated, I would say. Usually it's Milkray, like, doing a ridiculous dance. And that is, of course, Jay on your screen there. We got to hear from him in an interview, obviously, from Coco Loco when they won. Really well-spoken guy, very switched on here, and I'm sure he's got something spicy brewing for us here. And again, the first time we get to see the knockout game type tonight, a game type in which surviving members get stronger as the round goes. Kenny, we're going to let you step aside for a moment, and myself and Ready Set are going to be jumping into this game momentarily. And again, this is, folks, a best of 3. Keep that on the back of your mind.
Let's get it started. Just an overview of what Sizzling Chambers look like. So, in the middle of the map, yes, not only that, you're going to have plenty of places to utilize a thrower, for instance. Tons of walls to be broken open by the meteor shower. Probably something that you want to be aware of. That one, those two being combined, not really a great mix. More like oil and water. It's just not going to work out.
I sound like oil and oil, honestly, because they are basically doing the same thing. They are covering the ground. The thrower-wise, we do get a berry here. We don't obviously have the picks just yet from Rival. We'll see them when we get into game. But I guess Mr. P here as well, pretty darn good with so many of these walls. Hiroshi could get a lot of value. And the kid also, I guess, acts as a pseudo-thrower, right? Jump onto Geki, for example. Not only will that duo get healed up by standing in the puddles for the berry, but also Targo gets to throw those yarn balls, which are very short range, Ready Set, but they are very, very high in damage.
They hurt. They're doing 3,000 damage on a normal day. Here on Knockout, especially if, you know, some of your teammates get eliminated, they're going to be even more powerful. I'm really intrigued by the Mr. P, personally. First of all, once he gets that Porter down, that's going to be pretty good into Gene. But these are blind picks, right? This is not a draft. I think the Mr. P is going to find his value towards the end of the game, where if he is still alive and his teammates are not, that Porter is going to be very, very
the Porters also get stronger.
Brawler. Yes.
Oh, okay, that is nice. They're going to become pretty annoying to deal with. And of course, Mr. P is going to be effective in basically every part of this map. And so why do you think Rival are going with triple sharpshooter here? I guess there is a pretty wide open expanse here. Fair enough.
Well, I do think in terms of the sharpshooters that they should be able to keep control of mid. it is going to be complicated once these enemy brawlers are powered up, because it's basically going to be them firing little toothpicks at a single buffed up brawler. Though Ryohi on this Angelo definitely has the right idea. I would say the same for Jay. But the mid control for now belongs to Rival Esports. Once that poison starts closing in, that's going to mean a lot more.
Target with the cardboard box here, but it's super on an enemy target while it will incapacitate them. There's a question of who's actually going to be in a position to follow up on that stun, essentially, that Kit can inflict. So Geki is waiting. Obviously would like to eventually be able to build that super up. Take some damage to do so. Okay, but they've snuck across to the left-hand side here, so the net's starting to close a little bit. The Meteors are falling, folks. They are coming down. Trust me on that one. Hiroshi takes a bit of damage trying to come forward here, but Jay is picked off. So Rival find that first elimination. Here goes Sargo, able to jump in, find one instantly. Can play inside the berry heal. Very powerful here. Nicely done with Melted. The super comes through, catches Geki, but that is a very big El Primo. Still, the Poppin actually going to get some damage at Hiroshi. Well, you kind of called it. Very, very high health, high damage brawler, but that Meteor strike was pretty unlucky.
That was devastating. Did you see the amount of damage Piper is doing there? When you look at a brawler that has 26,000 health, you think to yourself, oh, cool, well, they're safe. Piper only does 3K, but she's empowered with all of the abilities of her fallen brethren on her team. It still only takes 2 shots to eliminate a Mr. P when you're that buffed up. So we'll see round number 1 go to Rival over here. And same story as last time. They do have this mid control. Something that really impressed me from Angelic on that last round was what they were able to do with this Kit. I think in particular, Kit landing on the water, where it looked a little glitchy, but he's able to avoid a good amount of damage where he continuously latches onto an enemy that's on land, but then bumps over to the water.
And I believe that's a bounty won by Rival, right? Shu is the longest surviving brawler, or at least so far. We might be having to tally that up at the end of the map over these multiple rounds here, but we'll see. Shu obviously still hasn't died yet, so that's pretty sweet. That's annoying tick damage there coming over towards Geki now. Head first going to be you, Sargo. Yep, very dangerous position. That's easy for the Gene to hook them on in. Geki's still trying to close the gap here. Response desperately trying to make sure that El Prio is healed. And there it comes. Elbow drop in. Blown up instantly, though. Shu able to find response. And Melty looks like they came in with the super. Rival are all over this. Shu still hasn't died.
He's firing off some menacing shots towards mid, but Hiroshi right side still exists. What a takedown from the Porter. And Kuru falls. Hiroshi and Jay are still alive to be the mid patrol. And Jay has the positioning over the water. A missed super there from Melty isn't too big of a deal, but it's going to be tough for him to earn it back. Rival would like to end this sooner than later. They have the man advantage for now. And Hiroshi's on low health. Same story for Jay. See some taps coming in. Ryohi taken down. It's just Jay left. And he can't win this by sitting in the poison. That might actually be the math. What? A draw!
I cannot believe it. I mean, the gas does percent health damage, I guess. It's not a set value. So even the very healthy Jay, being the last one standing on their team, goes down at the same time. I've not seen a draw in Knockout ever.
Well, and that also confirms that Shu is the player who survived the longest. So this one has to be going to Rival in terms of bounties. Angelic needed to live through that last one and through the next one. We'll see Sago going for an aggressive play, punished, and no takedown on Kuru. This leaves Angelic at a man disadvantage.
Hypercharge up here for Ryohei. Shu and Milkrio, though, with supers out the ready. Yeah, okay, those magic puffs from Kuru, desperately trying to keep Melty standing, but X9J able to find them. Geki, though, moves straight through, and Hypercharge, and Milkrio ends up getting taken down by the grenades. Angelic here in a 3 versus 4. Response gets hooked on in. Their Rival getting further out in front. They already have 1 round to their name, and now it is a 4 versus 2.
This is the same set of 2 brawlers from Angelic that were alive at the end of the last round. They need to get some kills in here because they cannot survive the takedown on Jay. And Hiroshi does have a super.
Take a porter time.
Some serious porters out here. There's 32,000 health on the porter. Look at this Kuru. He's helplessly firing into this thing. He won't be able to take it down. The only way this gets eliminated is by Meteor or by someone at the end. That's 1 Meteor down. He's trying so hard to keep this thing alive. He needs to hit his shots as well to farm up another one, but it's just not looking possible.
Hiroshi trying to body block for their porter spawn as much as they possibly can, but eventually gets brought down, and now they're stuck in the corner. Rival Esports will take Knockout away. My God, so many things to consider. It's also worth bearing in mind that the Meteors will fall over the whole map, and not just the area inside the gas. So the fact that our first round got decided by a Meteor falling into that small square, so unlucky. We for Angelic. Really unfortunate, but hey, that's the game, folks.
Not just that, but they're also more unlikely to spawn towards the beginning of the match. They increase in frequency towards the end to, you know, add a little bit more to the mayhem, and they have a tendency to fall towards groups of players, so spreading out can certainly be a way to avoid some of these meteors. When I see a meteor fall on a lone Mr. P instead of the 4 enemy brawlers grouped together, though, I do get a little suspicious.
Yeah, that was a little sussy. Here's obviously some run backs. This was the last 1 versus 1. Look at that. That is so lucky.
My gosh.
Oh, yeah, brutal stuff. This one, I don't know how this happened. This one came down to a draw in the end. Keep an eye on those health bars as they tick down. The gas comes in awful quick. And Jay, I think, obviously just gets like a power boost as one of their teammates die, but obviously he's taking twice the amount of damage as their teammate. All right.
Let's talk. Game number 2. Rival Esports boasts the advantage right now with the game number 1 win. We'll see a much different strategy from Angelic this time. Instead of sending Sago down this right lane alone, they're going to have Geki in response to do that instead. They're gradually moving things over to this left side. Note also that Angelic had the mid control off the beginning of this round, which they hadn't for a single round in game 1.
All of Rival grouping up. They've definitely lost this map control now, despite that sharpshooter presence. They have a lot of that mid under control. Might be Geki's positioning here, causing them some concern. Response here starting to get aggressive with some of those shots. Has to use the gadget to try and stave off the head first and still ends up having to eat the full amount of damage at the end. Rio here now wants to step up, maybe punish this Berry's position, but he's getting a lot of value healing the duo of Geki and Sago now. The latter, though, who's not close enough to get yarn ball value. The kit was out of range still, and now Geki has to be body blocked for. And that's Response using a super, and, well, that's enough at least to keep Geki alive for now, but they are healing so much on this El Primo.
They're keeping Geki alive, but they really aren't earning an objective. They're keeping him in a position, but not getting any kills. We'll see a first takedown onto Rival. Big elbow drop in from Geki. Sago does get a kill, but he couldn't latch onto El Primo to keep him alive. He'll end up falling to the mines from Milk Rio. An easy dispatching of that tick super on the back right. Same couple of brawlers that we usually see from Angelic towards the end of the round alive, and it's coming down to the final seconds.
It's a tanky porter indeed. Milkrio, if they're the last brawler standing, will struggle to deal with those porters in general. Not good for those throwers. And there it is, Angelic have 2 players standing at the end of the round, and they're eventually able to take it. That's nice. I mean, they lost 2-0 in their previous run through, but they had so much more map control this time. I don't think Rival are going to give it to him, though, so easily.
Well, Angelic have managed to get a change of pace at least. The closest they came to a round victory in game 1 was that draw. This is a different approach. I wonder what's so interesting towards that top right. They must be tasking Barry with going alone in that top right. Now, we've seen Rival Esports in this position before, around mid, but we haven't seen Angelic willingly play so passively around the top right.
He has to back up here. Still doesn't have that super available, so won't be any diving going on anytime soon. That very healing going a long way. Magic Puffs doing much the same thing on the Rival side. That Gene making sure everyone is kept pretty healthy and in a pinch, of course. Angelo could always throw that super down and heal inside of it. That makes you a little bit vulnerable. Nicely done. What a snipe. Hiroshi taken out. That pesky Mr. P no longer a factor.
Second consecutive super from Melty to hit Mr. P as well. The first one dropped him to just 400 health. Look at the value that Angelic have right now. They have a couple of supers at their disposal, a couple of hypercharges paired up with that as well. We haven't really seen Geki get any value just yet, though. He's jumped in, but just kind of caused some mayhem, not got valuable kills or abilities out. This mid control seems to belong to Rival Esports right now. Here's a super in from the kit. Immediately taken down. Geki blasted away. We do see 1 kill on the right side. 2 players to the side of Angelic. Ryogi with the hypercharge. Same for Jay. It's the Angelo 1v1 on the right side. Milk Rio knocks him back. Response has all the heals in the world to keep himself alive, but he's got to play aggro right now. Could be an easy takedown at Rio. He's staying alive with the heals, but cannot out-heal the damage from Angelo.
Yeah, Barry, you're not the last brawler you really want to be standing there. Good healing, but the damage can sometimes leave a little bit to be desired, especially as it's tick damage for the most part. Still, Rook gets Rival there round back. We're heading to a decider here for this first set. And once more, Rival making use of Magic Puffs and a lot of supers build up from the previous one to take mid.
We see Melty just consecutively hitting these Mandy supers. He only needs 1 more shot to hit in order to get his next one. Question is, which target does he really focus on? Hiroshi wouldn't be a bad shout. Melty has the super. Who's he going to go for? Well, Sago's got the jump in, and Geki gets defended. He thought about getting aggressive.
Healing's gone here for Rival, though. They've lost that G. And it was traded, of course, for the kit. Angelic probably feeling okay about that one. There it is. Mandy Super response very low. Has the super away. Stand inside that healing field. But still an open map, and all these sharpshooters still on the field. 3 of them, in fact, for Rival are going to be a problem. Homemade recipe gets used there by Shu. No elimination off the back of it. Milfrio does well. Last hurrah, unclear if that's available here. And they're in trouble against the El Primo. But Ryohei gets involved and turns it into a 1-4-1 trade. Now it's a 3v2 favoring Rival.
Melty can really use a super here. Jay is able to jump away. He has that gadget, but Hiroshi is not. He can't block an incoming Mandy super. Look at the utility for Rival as well with Ryohei having his hypercharge and his super. But he's going to have to keep wasting his shots on these porters as they continue to file out of that top left side. But an ill-intentioned Meteor is going to be taking that down. On the top right, Ryohei's closing in. He needs to fire through these porters, though. He doesn't have a way of getting through them. Hiroshi's trying to get behind the porter. Ryohei jumps over, and Hiroshi taken down. Rival Esports takes set 1.
Damn, that damage, of course, from Angelo's super, not something that you want to count out, especially with the hypercharge. You get to move it around with you. At that point, we see the Angelo could just basically stand on top of the Mr. P. Otherwise, that would have been pretty ugly. Mr. P had 2 porters out on the field, and he was buffed up with 4 of those power-ups. And that's like the most terrifying situation, I think, to have to deal with in Knockout. That's going to be Rival to actually take away the set there. Very back and forth. It was nice to see Angelic get themselves around, but ultimately, not enough.
Not quite. Man, that last interaction was so close. It really looked like Mr. P was going to be the math. A bit of a suspicious pick when it comes to Brawl Stars in general. He's not really that strong, but in these sort of, we'll call them wacky scenarios, where you get powered up by being one of the last members alive, then those porters can really deal a beating to your opponents. Especially when you are in a 5v5 situation where there's so much damage flying everywhere that people are generally concerned with feeding abilities. It allows Mr. P to get his super where he wouldn't usually in a 3v3, since that lane is not going to allow you to hit them.
Very pleased, of course, our Rival, and as they should be. Again, they're the ones that took the bounty away. We determined with their very sophisticated timekeeping apparatus, probably a stopwatch, that the bounty goes over to Rival. That's right, so $500 extra for having, as chosen by Ready Set, the individual survive the longest. Yes, that was their Piper player who survived for the most part of 2 rounds as far as we could tell. So very, very nicely done. Thank you very much all at home, of course, for voting for the modifier. I'm glad we got to see the Meteors come down. It's interesting on this map, of course, because again, it's a very large map. So eventually the play area closes up and the Meteors can sort of fall outside of it. That was good. I'm glad we got to see that. I mean, these are our, obviously, bounties that are, or the mode picks, rather, that we have available. So you, now, in this next mode, can vote. Do you want to see Knockout again? That is obviously an option. Gem Grab, Brawl Ball. I know that's been a favorite amongst many people, and I can see why. Brawl Ball and 5v5, fun and explosive gameplay. So keep that in the back of your mind as we'll be looking to have you over at event.brawlstars.com. Look to make your vote. Knockout's fun, I think, Ready Set, because having one brawler potentially, you know, like powered up, especially now that we realize that all their deployables get powered up, adds a little bit of extra spice to the game.
It's one of those where, you know, even if you die early, you know that you're going to, in a way, be assisting your teammates since they sort of inherit your health and your damage for the later stages of the game. Though, one thing that we did see is that consistently the same brawlers were surviving till the end. We see the Angelo, we see the Mr. P in the final moments. And none of these modes are really immune to that paradigm of certain brawlers just being the ones that are the playmakers, Brawl Ball in particular. We saw just how dominant Melody can be there. So, depending on which mode we head to, I'm excited to see which brawlers are stealing the show. With Gem Grab, I think we have the most diversity in what can be played.
The voting is open right now. You can vote for Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, or Knockout, folks. So make sure you get your votes in right now. And I'm tracking the numbers. It's a lot of There's a lot of Brawl Ball lovers out there, really. I'm feeling like we're probably going to be heading over to the map in just a moment here. We like Knockout. Knockout was pretty good back and forth. I think the modifier definitely added a little bit of extra spice. And of course, for this map, you're voting on the map type, folks, not the modifier. It'll be Brawl Ball winning once more. So thank you for getting over to event.brawlstars.com and putting your vote in. So it's going to be good, honest 5 versus 5 Brawl Ball. We have a number of different maps here. I think we've already seen cool shapes and freezing ripples. We've got great waves and suspenders.
Suspenders is just a funny name. I don't care what the map looks like. I want to see suspenders in play.
Why didn't they give us any of those to wear? You know what I mean?
I feel like that's pretty Western, like pretty cowboyish.
Yes, I think so. Cowboys wear suspenders, right, folks? I'm certain of it. But again, remember, best of 3 series here in a double elimination bracket. So Rival Esports only need one more set to take it away entirely, but Angelica are going to get another shot. They will have to take on Na'Vi in the lower bracket, though, to make their way back through, which also means we get Rival and Crazy Raccoon fighting for their chance to be in the grand final. We don't get to talk about double elimination often, folks, because it is a single elimination 8-team bracket when we cover the BSC. But in the monthly qualifiers, you do get an extra shot. It does eventually break into a double elimination bracket. So if you've been someone who's tried to qualify, you'll be familiar with the format, and it is obviously pretty common to see here. Look, Rival looked good. They understood the map. They picked 3 sharpshooters. They had map control for most of these rounds. I like the Mr. P. I like the El Primo. Spicy picks, but ultimately they left a little bit to be desired, I think, when it came to really getting ahead early.
Well, when it comes to Knockout in particular, what is the objective? To kill enemies and not die. And look, this might be a hot take, but Kit, El Primo, not particularly their forte. We see in many instances Primo just staying alive. Now, he's sucking up all of the healing from his teammates. We see a couple of dedicated healers just trying to help him hang on in a position, but wasn't really making anything happen. Kit was going on some of these, suicide missions and ended up getting a kill, but it only wound up being a trade. And I think what we saw become the advantage for Rival Esports was precisely what you pointed out, those sharpshooters, where they stay in a safe position. Mandy is the KD brawler. They brought her to the battle. But with Knockout in our back pocket, let's talk about Great Waves, the selected map for our second set, Brawl Ball.
Yeah, okay, so importantly, you'll notice the snowmen over towards the goals. They're not in the corners of them necessarily, so straight away you can try and slot shots into the top and bottom corners of those goals respectively. You saw in the previous Brawl Ball maps, those corners were sort of filled up by that sort of destructible terrain that had to be sort of blown up first. We'll see just how impactful that ultimately ends up being. But here you pick straight away. Okay, so Rival, they do also like to bring the bell in. Mo's been very popular just for that engage potential. And Clancy, because these games run longer. But there's Melody picked up by Jay.
Melody is an absolute must in Brawl Ball in general, especially on an open map. When it comes to one like this, you have so much room to cover. And her super, which she gets 3 of, is instrumental for shooting this ball from midfield. She can also, get to position on the top or bottom of the goal, break open some of those destructible obstacles. Her shot doesn't need to break walls or anything. She's the ultimate striker on this map. It's interesting to see that, well, only Angelic have decided to go for it. But Rival Esports are going to have to also deal with this Fang, so perhaps owing to a more defensive strategy from them.
I'm surprised it's taken so long to see Fang, actually. When 5v5 first came out, everybody was running Fang because, of course, he has the ability just to bounce between those targets when he comes in with super. However, he's a little bit underwhelming when he's in the poke game. He can generate his super, but he doesn't do the most damage when he's sending his shoes flying off here. So Geki also being marked, going to make things a little bit harder for them. Ryohei, they were able to get the ball moving forward. A nice little twist of that. Shoes able to dive under with that Mo super and look to make a break here at the bottom of your screen.
Mo is so strong just in general, but especially here. He's able to cover so much distance while being invulnerable during the duration of the super. We'll see Sago send him packing all the way back to respawn. Hiroshi looks for the kill on Bell. Meanwhile, Jay's going for an aggro play on Ryohei. A single note would be enough to take him down, but he survives with 18 health. Not for long, though, as Sago now takes him down. And Milkryo is surviving on just a few health in the backlines. Hiroshi has opened things up. The ball has not reached that area just yet, so not yet a goal-scoring opportunity for Angelic.
I don't know if you saw that, but Response got 4 consecutive hits off that rattled hive there, basically stopping Rival from being able to score, I would say. Shu ate all of them, went too low to be able to peek out, and yep, once you get up the map, slowly but surely, that Gale Super will seal the deal.
We've seen this team play with Gale repeatedly, where, hey, I'm about to go for a goal. Can you Gale Super? Yeah, I'll do that. Angelic now have sort of lost their footing here. We see the super in from Melty Ryohi with a wide open goal to slot this one in at the top between the edge of the goal and the snowman.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get up to the top or bottom of the screen and get out clear, and you have super available, it's pretty easy to get the ball to you and then to score a goal from there. So that's dangerous, something worth keeping an eye out for. Melty, of course, on the max, that speed boost, big difference maker in a pinch. I see that Twister used to make sure Rival can't hard engage there. Iron Hive used, slowing up Milcreo, but no follow-up damage there. Hiroshi goes in with a super. Can't collect the ball, though. Saga's going to force back now with that Gale Force. Jay wants to get more aggressive here, and why wouldn't you? 3 music notes ready to go, and that melody's looking scary.
Still got another gadget left. On the bottom side, though, Shu has advanced towards the ball. He might be able to get this one in. It's going to take some help from Kuru. This ball ends up getting passed toward the back right, where it's actually not very possible for Rival to attack. They're going to have to earn their way there now. And Angelic have swarmed around this ball. I'll call puppy guarding, but they will advance this one towards the midfield to try and generate a goal. They have a couple supers to do it. Note that Fang has Hypercharge, which is a ridiculously powerful ability here in 5v5.
Yeah, again, of course, that Hypercharge super that he can go through walls, not relevant anymore, but the stat boost is definitely something worth bearing in mind. He can really tear you to shreds, and if, of course, I don't think he has Corn Fu, he probably has the roundhouse kick stun, so that can be dangerous if you group up, and there it is, he comes in, but it's going to be a trade, 1-for-1. Genki taken down by Shu in the end. Melty stunned up at the bottom of the map, 22 seconds left in the round. Response wants to try and surge ahead. It's Ryoho coming in with the Dower roll. He's very healthy. Another shot, rolls forward, going to be knocked back by a Gale Force now. We're in under 13 seconds. Genki explodes on contact, and Shu, 1 versus 2, gets the score. Nicely done by Rival. They wrap it up beautifully there.
We see such a prevalence of brawlers that are able to get some movement ability forward and then have a super just ready to go. Mo is one of those brawlers. He has a dash forward. He has a bunch of health. He gets to be invincible during the dash, and then when he pops out of the ground, he has a super that's, you know, on a normal day, supposed to let him just get back into his typical range form. Here, for that final goal, it was used to snipe one into the goal. There was only one member defending it that could not have possibly blocked that goal. What an excellent move, an opening seized by Mo here. Just a cruel reminder of how quickly these games can exchange hands.
Angelic, they're still in this. We're only 1 round into this brawl ball matchup there. Nicely done. Jay handled deftly by Melty, able to use a phase shifter to get away from the melody. Kuro already up to level 2. Good early damage, for sure. Hiroshi takes the triple tap. Drew wants to move up, super available, but they are stunned up. Shu still wants to come forward, though. Response is not in a good position. Jay needs to go huge here, and he does! Double kill for the Melody, and now it's an open field for Angelic to advance through. Ryohei needs to be careful, can't be overextending. Jay wants to go deep, but eventually is staved off. Melty pops that max super, and Rival scrabbling to get back in position.
They do have Melty completely surrounded. Hiroshi barely could not get, and Melty slipped through his fingers. Very interesting aggressive play in from Geki that, yeah, makes no contact on any enemies. Whoa, what a gadget there from Response. But here comes the Hypercharge Max Super. They get so much more value when you're in a 5v5 scenario, but it is defended by Angelic with a prudent use of Sago's Gale Super.
Factor's already level 3, though. Be careful, Jay. You are marked up as it is, but Hiroshi goes in, pops the Clancy straight away. 1-for-1 again, and traded again as Milcreo is able to deal with the bow. Geki uses a stun on 1 player, but is able to get out alive and have the super ready to go for the next run through. Jay marked up, trying to use a shield, but again, that damage amplification for incoming damage is too much. Another great rattled hive leads Melty quite low, and Angelic starts to move up again.
Okay, a little stun there on Nakura, and Shu knocks him back for just a moment. But the ball has now gone to a different approach down at the bottom lane. Jay, Geki, Response all doing their best to defend. Look at Response. He is marked up. He's a marked man. Not able to do much in terms of defense. Oh. Will pass it to the top side. Shu tries to interrupt. Can't get that ball in his possession. Super it into the goal. And we'll see this one head down to the top side.
Kuru just got 3 kills as level 3 Clancy. Very, very scary right now. Sago living dangerously. Twister keeps him alive, and great super to set up the kill on Melty. 14 seconds left in the round. Still no goal scored. The map about to open up as Jay wants to come up. That's another gadget use here for the Melody. Some extra durability, but Rival need to slow things down. They need respawns to come back in. The map will open up one way or another. Hypercharge, though, it's up for Milkrio. It's a free mark, basically, on response getting caught out.
A super available for Ryohi. He's got another one to use right after. Stunned by Geki. Still eliminated. Shu shoved off by the Twister. Super down the bottom side. But it's intercepted by Jay. And the Clancy upside, but Crew's deleting these guys. Hiroshi with a missed super, but still, the kill comes in as he pops back into the normal Mo form. This one's getting cornered in the top right. Angelic are scrambling to get control back before they even think about pushing this ball towards Rival's side.
Still 28 seconds left in the round. Hiroshi can dive and at least try and secure a trade here, but it's looking dicey. Rival have the map control. Started to force Angelic back into the corner. Hiroshi with super now available. Thinks about going for the ball, but has to think that second time. Here's Geki coming in with a hypercharge. Not too bad. Finds one, but it's not enough. Ryohei running rush shot over Angelic, and Rival get the goal in at the 11th hour. Nice leader.
Such execution here for Rival. The entire squad. Those additions of Ryohi and Crew have been crucial for the success of this team. In my opinion, I will still stand by what they said. I think they looked a little rough in the time leading up to this competition, but they looked like such a confident squad. I really admire the draft from them as well. I think it worked super harmoniously. The power players coming out here, the Mo, the Daryl, these guys were paramount in the success with their ability to have basically two supers to generate some goals out here. But that final moment, the last goal, was not one of those moments where Ryohi or Shu are making the power play, though we will see some of this. Angelic had a stalwart defense in this final game.
Yeah, look, I think Daryl very powerful because you can shoot, roll, and, you know, basically close a lot of the map while still essentially maintaining possession of the ball there. I think the Clancy is really good. I mean, late into the game, hitting very hard, especially when there's nothing to break up that super. There's no terrain in the way. You are getting sprayed, taking a huge amount of damage. I think there was like a 3-kill spree that we saw Kuru able to create. And again, just being able to do more than just go 1-for-1 here. If you're able to get 2, God let alone 3 kills, you can snowball that advantage so massively, even on a map like Brawl Ball, where it is still very positional.
This is the 3v3 dynamic that we were kind of talking about in Knockout, where a brawler that would usually get denied super is now just allowed a bunch of free hits because, I don't know, there are 5 different brawlers. We're all kind of shooting at each other. And here in Brawl Ball, where there are brawlers playing aggressively into you galore, Clancy will never be shoot of any charge to get to his next level.
Yeah, that was obviously pretty impressive. Again, you can start with a bit of extra credits on Clancy if you take the right star power. The Fang, though, didn't quite work out. I think, again, in 5v5, you get blown up awfully fast. You know, you don't have a lot of... You're pretty tanky, right? Fang has a large amount of health for someone who wants to sort of be in your face and even can poke at long range. Sort of. But we saw multiple times that Fang was getting blown up before he could reach his mark.
It seems like even in 5v5, Fang still hangs on to his reputation as a noob killer and not really a brawler that sees too much success in competitive play. Because, like you said, you got a lot more brawlers on the field. Like, Fang looks at that, he goes, oh boy, that's a lot of brawlers for me to reflect off of. But then your opponents think, okay, well, cool. If we all combine forces, then we can take him down in one shot. And that's what we saw happen, even when he was hypercharged.
Yeah, seeing like the Belle have another successful outing, right? She's very powerful. I think the Mark just being able to really make it hard for one of those tankier opponent brawlers to come forward at all, right? If it's a Fang that's hit by it, it's really quite problematic for them. So we have our next couple of games already set for you. We have our upper final between Crazy Raccoon and Rival Esports. And then, of course, our lower semi-final, which will be the next game that we cover, is going to feature Na'Vi and Angelic. Again, that means new opportunities to vote for a game and map. New opportunities, of course, to vote for a modifier. Event.brawlstars.com is where to make those votes and, of course, earn yourself rewards as we go. Get yourself some star drops. Get your predictions in. We're going to be back on the other side of the break and set you up for our lower semi-final, another best of 3. This one, though, it's an elimination game.
This one's going to be an entertaining watch between Na'Vi and Angelic. Oh, okay.
Chip is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
El Brawler es un lanzacohetes como se hace principal. El Brock, gente. Era fácil, tío. No ves, mira. No vas a poder. A ver, ¿qué os estaba diciendo?
Like 30 people.
Boy.
That's all.
The time when dreams come true and legends are born. Oh my word! This is the place. Some seriously spicy stuff. An absolute masterclass. A place where teams from across the globe come to battle it out for their shot at glory. Oh, you're kidding! And a piece of up to $2 million in prizes. No pressure, guys. No pressure. This is the feeling. It's beautiful. The once-in-a-lifetime feeling of lifting the trophy at the Brawl Stars World Finals. Here comes the push. Here's the damage. This is now the crunch time. This is the game.
Immediately taken down. Still not going to fall. He refuses to die.
The game you love. This is the Brawl Stars Championship. Let's get ready to brawl.
Ya tengo hambre, ¿qué como?
All right, folks, it's lower semi-final time here at our Brawl Stars Championship September Spectacle for the APAC region, powered, like always, by the Snapdragon Pro Series. Welcome back. We have an elimination match on our hands here. That is right. The chance at an extra $2 grand prize money for the winning team. Well, that's in the balance here for either Na'Vi or Angelic, who are fighting to avoid being kicked out the whole darn tootin' thing. I'm back here. I'm Uber, of course. I'm with Kenny, and I'm with Ready Set. We've seen kind of everything. We've had a bit of a taste of all of our modes. We saw a little bit of knockout there in the previous game with a meteor shower, no less. We're coming into this next series, of course, between Angelic and Na'Vi, and only one team, Kenny, advance.
Yeah, this is winner go home right here. Big deal, but thankfully there are bounties up for grab. I'm going to be at the helm for that too, so I'm excited to see what chaos I can cause here alongside chat who get to vote at home.
That's right, event.brawlstars.com. In case you weren't aware of it, tattoo it on the inside of your eyelid so you'd never forget. And so we can, of course, go in there and vote for not only who you think is going to win, you can also vote, of course, for when our map types are up for grabs. Now, our first map of this series is up for your voting. So that'll be open in a moment. But first, let's have a look at the bracket here. Ready, set. Get us up to speed so far after our first two best of threes.
This was exciting. We saw Crazy Raccoon actually get a comeback versus Na'Vi. It looked like they were going to win it at first. Nonetheless, we'll see Na'Vi play once again in the lower semifinal. Rival Esports swept through Angelic without any issues to get their placement in the upper finals, where we'll see them play Crazy Raccoon later. For now, we have to decide who our first team to go home will be. Is it going to be Na'Vi? Is it going to be Angelic? It'll be decided in a best of three.
Now, our predictions so far, I think it's worth circling back around to those here. We got Crazy Raccoon to win out against Na'Vi. We were right, almost wrong, though. And then, of course, at semi-final number 2, it was Rival who were able to triumph with Ryohei and Kuru in tow. Now heading to take on Crazy Raccoon after that. So lower semis, though, again, Ready, set. You are Angelic till you die. You still feel that way after that second semi?
Till I die, man. I am ride or die Angelic, these guys. Nah, for real, they're actually just like a nice group of people. So I'm putting my heart forth just like their logo.
Yeah, good for you.
Homie, all right. I'm glad that Homie feels like on event.brawlstars.com he can, you know, like not get the pin because he thinks they're nice people. Like, I wouldn't wager my awesome ninja BSC pin on what I think about folks, but
nice
I like
isn't
that.
winning.
Nice isn't winning. There's probably another way. Nice guys finished. Anyway, we are going to be jumping into this one in just a moment, and like we mentioned earlier, our map type is up for grabs. But Na'Vi versus Angelic, let's run through them very quickly. Na'Vi is a Chapi, Levi, Suzuku, Memeshi, and Kenji have joined this roster, of course. Players who are no stranger to success, players from previous Zeta Division rosters, who, as you can imagine, world champions, of course. Zeta Division 0 on that year. We have a couple of the Zeta 1 players on this team. That's a Chapi on your screen here. Look, safe to say, Kenny, pretty insane pedigree out of this region.
It's been an awesome year for competition. I mean, outside of obviously the fun we're having tonight, multiple monthly finals champions, even a team like Crazy Raccoon, renowned across the entire world for the skills that they put up, were challenged by teams like Angelic, Na'Vi, Coco Loco, who's got a little representation out here on this Angelic roster as well, I might add. I mean, plenty of teams across the region, even some surprises too. Rival Esports seemingly out of nowhere, taking off to the top of the guaranteed ticket to the World Finals.
That's right, of course. I mean, that's something to sort of bear in mind. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I Did not expect this APAC region to end up sort of shaping up like it did here. And like I mentioned beforehand, we went to the LCQ. I thought Na'Vi would be the team that would come through their group. They look so dominant, but they struggle. I don't know what it is, that reject Na'Vi team. They always struggle at LCQs. Anyway, folks, you are voting for the mode that we are going to play in this series. So far, every time we put this up to a vote, it's been Brawl Ball. But hey, doesn't mean that can't change here. Event.brawlstars.com is where you can vote for your preferred game mode, and I'm going to I'm going to set expectations here. I think our audience really want to see one particular map type ready and one map type only. What do you think that is, mate?
Nah, it's got to be Brawl Ball for sure. And you know what? I'm going to try and sway the vote a little bit and ask that you vote for Suspenders right now. We have been dying to know what in Brawl Stars at all resembles Suspenders as far as the geography of it.
I think we're going to get it. I think we're guessing it.
I believe in the people.
Did we?
I believe.
So we are voting, of course, on the event side only for the map type. The actual specific map, I think, is chosen sort of internally. And if Brawl Ball was going to be chosen here, it was going to be Suspenders. So we are going over towards that map. Now, why are we so excited about this again?
Well, Suspenders are, cool shapes are cool, waves are great,
cool
the ripples are freezing, but the penders are sus, so we got to go with those.
I can't believe he just...
We went there.
Snuck that in. The penders are sus.
I might change.
Let it be known, folks. Yeah.
What?
It's too late.
Did I ruin the map?
It's too late to vote for a different map.
Yeah.
You can't do it. I mean, it's too late. The people have spoken. 61% of you at home have voted for Brawl Ball. So it's obviously very exciting. Suspenders it's going to be, folks. That one is getting locked in here. But Navi and Angelic, a reminder, this is a best of 3 series, and the winner will advance in the lower bracket to await either one of Rival and Crazy Raccoon, who would then fall down and play them. The loser is eliminated. They're going to have to watch the rest of this, whatever you want to call it, this catastrophe in 5v5 from the sidelines. But one thing's for sure, it's been a ton of fun so far. We've got to see a ton of different brawler picks. We've even already seen Kenji just run wild, the newest brawler to hit the game, still only in early access. Mo, of course, the recent brawler. Clancy, very powerful brawler that we didn't see as much of in the BSC, as he was initially banned pretty heavily and then shied away from when it came to picks and bans. So this is apparently where you come to see those new brawlers into the game that normally are banned out, because teams don't give them the chance to ban out here. I think it might even be blind pick. I think they're just locking 5 brawlers and going for it. Very quickly, Navi versus Angelic. Both myself and Kenny have Navi winning. It's going to be ready, said he thinks Angelic are going to take it. I'm going to step aside. Kenny, ready? Floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, partner. Going to be a lovely one here. We've got Navi versus Angelic going underway, and it is going to be Suspenders. Ready? You got your wish.
Yes, I did. And, okay, you know what? I guess I can kind of see the resemblance of Suspenders. Kenny, I think you've seen more Suspenders in your life than I have. I've legitimately never worn a pair.
On the occasion, I think I've maybe worn them one time in my life. When I was in a wedding one time, actually wore suspenders. So it's happened on a handful of occasions. Usually a formal attire, but you know what? What's the Brawl Ball map? I mean, I kind of like it. You can see the shape and form. I do want to note, too, it's pretty open. There's a few tight ropes in here. I think there's going to be a lot of goal-scoring opportunities here as well for this. Bounties coming up out there, too. And I believe I get to set it, so I'm going to be rather excited to see what goes down here. I think a race for a first goal could be quite interesting.
I am definitely liking the sound of that. I think in a lot of cases also that coincides with your objective, because I don't think anyone really wants to be the second team to score a goal, even in the absence of bounties. We'll see how both of these teams navigate it. And note that Angelic actually opted not to go for the Melody this time. Navi is going to be putting Suzuku on the brawler, and I've been a big advocate for it. Hasn't always succeeded. We actually didn't see it work for Angelic when they played it previously, but for Navi, maybe it will be executed upon differently.
Once again, that bell, I think, is going to be very solid. The bounce shot going down as well. We've got Piper getting in the mix. Could be a good counter into that. Max for a little speed. A lot of long range, I feel like, really coming in for the Angelic side.
Let's see how they can utilize it. We already see that early takedown Levi the first to fall. Kenji tries to pass this ball. He's actually going to get it downwards into the hands of Suzuku, who's still working for his first super. A few takedowns finding their way onto Navi, and Jay is handing out these 3,000 damage taps for absolute free. Meanwhile, Suzuku is being denied any value at every single turn.
They're going to be working through this lower section of the map. Kenji firing from distance. And of course, Mo is a problem at all distances. He can close the gap, get up close as well. The projectiles he can throw out are crazy, but a little extra speed going down for AGC. A pass through the wall right there. And all the members clustered alongside it. It's going to take a serious Navi defense here to hold on.
This is a ball of death. At mid, Suzuku tries to charge in and accomplish something. Does mildly weaken Sago. If anything, we'll see that super in from Hiroshi. Mameshi actually ends up getting the last laugh. And a choppy with a push down the bottom side to get this first goal for Navi.
The B pick, an interesting one as well. Not a lot of tanks in the mix here, but here comes the red roster rearing its ugly head once again. A perfect gadget coming in from B there, though. Nice tags. Another takedown as well. He's putting up a two-piece, looking for a third. A phase shift keeps him alive, but now Suzuku taking off, gets the top corner, and that's going to be a 2-0 victory for Navi.
The top corner is such a powerful position to be in because you can get that bank shot. So it gives you the chance to fire around an enemy more effectively. It's precisely what we saw from the Melody there. And the Melody has proven successful here for Navi, whereas it didn't really work out for Angelic when we saw them choosing this brawler. I think I like the execution. We talked about this previously in terms of Brawl Ball here, where a brawler that is able to movement ability forward and then fire away their super is going to get some of the most value. We saw that with Daryl in particular, but now we see it with Melody, we see it with the Mo as well, the two brawlers from Navi that wound up scoring goals.
I think the Melody, you said it earlier, is a must pick. It's not the best brawler. It's definitely not at its top point anymore, right? But it is great for just throwing down supers, getting across the map. I think just having that in your back pocket, not even necessarily being aggressive with it, but just waiting for maybe just a little opening on the top lane or the bottom lane and just taking off to the other end can be such a difference maker. So Navi going to be up 1-0 here. Keep in mind, this isn't only to survive, but if you go home, no more opportunities for bounties right now. Angelic certainly fighting for their tournament life. A little extra cheddar as well, a bounce shot away, a desperate defense coming in from Navi, and it's successful so far. They just have to get through these last two brawlers. Top of the net for response, though. Angelic strike back.
It almost looked like Navi might defend that. It was such a goal for Angelic, but it was sort of fumbled on the goal line where Sago couldn't phase shifter towards the ball. They moved forward as a force of 5. This time, we've already seen the Suzuki penetrate the defenses on the top side. Kenji gets a kill on response, and now Navi are moving this towards the enemy side, but they don't have a super to score this ball. All they have is positioning. Hiroshi is disrupting that. We'll see Suzuki get the kill on him, but he's unable to defend. He's one tap by any one of these projectiles. A super to the top, but Sago can't get it in. And Navi get to shift the tides of battle.
Shifting the tides is a great way of putting it. I feel like a lot of the times here we're seeing an all-out commitment from both of these teams. Angelic going to send as many brawlers as possible, and if it fails, Navi can take back this middle area. Good on Angelic, though. They've managed to keep the distance and put their foot on the gas pedal here. I feel like when you're in a situation with Suzuki as well, Melody, great for offense, not going to be able to support on defense as much as while we saw her run away, but right now she might have an opportunity to do her job.
Well, she is taken down. Choppy's ready to receive a pass, though. Mameshi can't get it forward. He's taken down by Geki's Kooky Popper. In response, gets a kill on a Choppy as well. Now the tide is coming in. But the ball's passed towards the top side because Angelic are incredibly aware of how they can actually put this ball in the corner. So we were discussing at the top of show is, does this still exist in 5v5? Well, very much so. It's precisely what Angelic have opted to go for. Sort of a stalemate at the top side. Response is just trying to hang on. There are only 25 seconds for Navi to somehow punch through this, and they'll accomplish that with a hypercharge, but it actually doesn't get them any forward movement.
Now Geki's powered up his ally as well. Mameshi bottom side, just trying to corral the enemies. Shot clock available, and Navi need to move quickly. Ball in the corner. Levi with a kill. Geki trying to hold on. Jay from the distance lobbing up shots, and it's just alone a Choppy on the map. All of his teammates disappeared on him. Angelic gonna tie things up.
Cornering the ball was the play. They got that early goal, but they weren't able to replicate the success of that initial push in for the remainder of the game. The reason being, well, it's sort of a mystery. You have 5v5 out here. It's all kinds of mayhem. We see repeatedly what you pointed out, Kenny, where it's an all-out commitment every single time. And that was how Angelic accomplished their first goal. They committed hard, and with the staggered respawns of Na'Vi, they didn't actually have too many issues getting that ball in, even though they did kind of brick that first shot. Then we saw Na'Vi attempt to accomplish that, but their aggressive brawlers are rushing forward and dying. Now they're at a man disadvantage. No one's there to receive the pass. I think the closest that Na'Vi actually got to scoring a ball, the one brawler who could do it, was eliminated by Geki's Kookie Popper. So these microscopic plays, in the grand scheme of things, still matter so much. You got to be able to see the forest for the trees, even in a 5v5 situation.
Response starting off hot. Multiple taps there. Marks the choppy and gets the takedown onto Kenji, the fellow Bell. They're working this ball on the top side, though. 3 red roster members while Sako does the work in the mid. Kenji looking for shots. A long distance attempt. Not going to quite connect. And now it's Na'Vi who are actually going to take one play out of Angelic's book, and they're going to corner this one.
Oh my goodness, Hiroshi tried to do it. He went for the super right by the side of Kenji and Mameshi, but they formed a wall to prevent that ball from going in the bottom side. We will see Geki get the kill with the Kookie Popper. He's just out of range.
I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but just trying to say you don't know what's been going on. You ask me how I'm feeling. Don't tell me you're too good to see. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell you lies and hurt you. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run.
Free. In the end, it goes to Na'Vi.
Oh, it was going to be such a close call, too. He elected to go for the pass. I'm not sure he had the coverage to super shot it into the net. He might have been 1 to 2 steps off. Kind of hard to say at a quick glance with only a second on the clock. That's a hard decision, though. Would have been a possibility of having a buzzer beater and sending that one into overtime.
Man, even if Response had picked that up, I still think that that one would have stopped right on the goal line.
Yeah.
The timer would have expired first. If things had just been a tiny bit tighter, then maybe we can discuss whether it had been possible, but I just don't think it was that realistic. That's unbelievable, though. Consider the amount of distance that that ball would have had to cover in a matter of, what, 4 seconds? It was recovered in the back right corner by Angelic and then supered all the way across the field. Would have been definitely the play of the night, without a doubt. This one was impressive, though. That goal from Suzuki on the top side really taught us how impactful that super can be on this map, in particular with the bank shot at that particular area of the goal.
Impressive stuff, to say the least. I think you're right. It is one of those judgment calls. It is impressive to me, though, that the coordination these guys have found in a 5v5 mode, which these guys, I don't think have been practicing 5v5. I'd be really surprised. They're all kind of learning alongside us, coming out here, playing the game mode, seeing what brawlers work best. But the fact that they were able to figure out and send a pass over 4 seconds to the other side of the map, I mean, maybe 5 seconds would have been enough. I really think there's a world where Angelic get that done.
Yeah, man, if only they'd had the foresight to start doing that at 5 seconds left instead of 4 seconds. Tisk, tisk. tisk. That's not what happened. But let's talk about what's coming up next. Is we got some modifiers for you to vote for on the event site. You'll do it at event.brawlstars.com. And, well, Kenny, what are we thinking in terms of modifiers? We actually haven't seen Graveyard Shift, which would be a fun change of pace.
We haven't seen Graveyard Shift, so you guys are going to be voting for the top 4 on the list. Angry Robot, Energy Drink, Fast Brawlers, or Graveyard Shift. And we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the losing health but dealing damage to heal back up is a really enticing one. I just think it promotes aggression, which is something I enjoy seeing. However, Angry Robot was kind of fun last time, so I wouldn't blame the people if they went that direction.
Oh, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But let me make a good argument for Graveyard Shift. Did you know that in 5v5, when you get healed from dealing damage, it actually heals your entire team? Would you believe me if I told you that?
Whoa, only 14% of the people right now look like they do. Would love to see some extra votes there. I think the people at home are just suckers for a little chaos. They want to see a giant robot punch some people, catch them off guard, and really make this a 6v5 situation.
And look, you can also change which side the robot's going to. If you push them away, get a little Gale action, and there's some solid knockback. Start griefing. Well, it's not really griefing the enemy. You're just playing the mode competitively and leveraging that robot to fight on your side instead of against you. But I don't think there's really much to be gained from the robot. If you're familiar with the robot from some of your showdown games as a modifier, usually you get some power cubes. Not here. It's just here to mess up your day and not much else.
And the results are officially in. It is going to be the Angry Robot. We are moving on to Gym Grab as well, and I get to be the dealer of chaos. So for the bounty here, I'm going to go with the team that starts the countdown first. I want to see these teams race in game number 1 to grab themselves a countdown. No mistakes to be afforded. I think it could be a little bit sweaty off the start, and I kind of want to see what these guys do under pressure. Obviously, there's extra money on the line. If they end up getting that countdown first, they will be the lucky receiver of some cheddar alongside, obviously, what could happen if they win the entire dang thing. That's part of the elimination route too, Ready. It's less opportunities to compete for bounties, not just for that first place prize, but obviously for the extra incentives along the way. The less matches you're playing, the less likely you are to bring home a bag of cheddar.
Look, because, in modes with modifiers, we got to keep things fair. They threw too much of a wrench in people's plans for us to, treat it like the competitive environment. So that's why we have the bounties. That's the thing to compete for, and that is how you're bringing home some cash money. We'll head to Arctic Extraction for the gym grab action. Now, who is going to be grabbing those countdown-worthy gems first is really the mystery, and it's going to determine who's getting some moolah off of this set.
Kenji seems like a good pick. We saw it earlier with CR. He's obviously insane. We chatted a little bit about it pre-show, but this guy is absolutely nuts right now. They're going to pair this with Mo. More Bell as well. I think on these maps that are just semi-ranged, you bring out the Bell for the marker as well onto the robot. We saw that be a strategy earlier. I think Sandy, a tried and true effort into something like Gym Grab, the invisibility, going to be able to cover all the team. And Gale's just darn good at the game right now. I'm excited to see what Angelic kind of do to counter these 5 brawlers. Obviously, it's kind of a blind pick going into it. They're not necessarily counter-comping, but it's like the good old days of Brawl Stars. You're just whipping out whatever you think is the best strategy.
This is true. Maybe trying to get a read on what your opponent is going
I like
for,
that.
but also, oh man, already some ability to reposition. Okay, this is very inventive. Now, this is actually a little characteristic of Angelic because they really do like to play some of these run-it-down brawlers. They've literally only gone for like 2 brawlers that don't simply run at the enemy. They've got this Mandy, and they also are working with the Gray here. Now, Mandy should be good for maintaining KD, getting a good distance from enemies. With a map that's more open, you're not just going to be leveraging that extended range in the vertical direction, but also horizontally, perhaps to, hold another gem mine. But I'm most excited
Gracias, Soma, por ayudarme. Gracias a ti, tío, por estar aquí.
Solid, and I think especially considering that you can teleport not only 2 other teammates now, but you get extras. You can send 5 mates anywhere on the map so quickly. On a map with 1 spawner in particular, there's going to be gyms in the middle, and that is all they get to work with. I'm excited to see how this race goes down. Don't forget about those bounties, folks. Each team going to be competing for 10 gyms.
Well, so far...
Y ahora vamos a ponerle el dedito para animar al máximo nivel. Y ahora vamos con Angelic, que yo creo que la atrapagemas es para Angelic.
Navi is in the lead. Hiroshi is going to be spawning right under him. Whoa, Kenji didn't even see him.
Ojo que viene el robot. El robotito que llega al centro.
But the Lily is fully aware. Levi did sense his position, so Hiroshi's sort of going to be estranged from his entire team, but here comes the angry Robo, and it's going for Navi.
Here comes the Mortis as well. Immediate pushback. And unfortunately for AGC, they're already down in the gym count. Now they've got 45,000 HP. He's got to run and at him right now. There's a punch, he even got a kill. Bro's joining in on the fight.
Angry Robo is ready to throw hands. That's 800 damage every 0.4 seconds from the robot, by the way. Here comes a double stun from Mameshi. Actually helps that robot pick up a kill. And we'll see Sago repeatedly dashing away from the robot. In the meantime, though, Levi does get a kill. He's going for the super. But they don't get that bounty.
The bounty was retrieved, but the game might not be. Navi willing to get $500 though, just to try and survive this Mortis. Running down to the other end, and Choppy needs a quick takedown. It's close, but not quite enough. Angelic don't get the bounty, but they do get a nice win.
That is the one downside of... Wait, that's not...
Well, Tensai's just cheering him on. I respect it.
I guess Tensai's tuning in on the player cams.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Or X9
going.
Yeah, or perhaps X9J was putting on the greatest cosplay that we've ever seen on a player cam before.
Maybe just that. Choppy, though, on the other end, at least he's a little bit richer. Not a game victory, but certainly an extra bounty alongside it. So like I said earlier, even when we're losing, we're winning. And that's part of the fun here tonight, folks. We're going to be going through this gym grab set a little bit more. This is our lower bracket, so keep in mind, if either of these teams go down, they are out for the rest of the night. So I know Navi Nation is going to be loud in the comment section. I'm sure they were jazzed up when that robot just started throwing punches randomly on a team that was already down 8 gyms to 0.
Well, and it kept following Sago as well. No matter where he dashed, the robot was still laser locked onto him. But Sago got the last laugh. He got the elimination on the enemy gym carry and walked away with many of those gyms. He may get to help his team advance later in the bracket, but Navi still did get that $500 prize for the bounty. We will see a couple of kills on the back right, especially with the assistance of Kenji. And look at this placement of the teleport down. That's going to be how Hiroshi plans on getting into mid. It's all kinds of mayhem happening. The super in from Levi, but no real kills as a result. Nonetheless, Navi have established their dominance here at mid with all 5 members on patrol.
Jay swooping in real quick. That was a bold call from a sharpshooter. Geki goes down as well. Navi eliminating players constantly. Hiroshi teleporting back. Has a super to hold on to. Wonder how many people they're going to try and send through this teleporter. Here comes response. Levi, though, surviving. He can be indestructible, but not for much longer. Thankfully, though, for the side of Angelic, they've got a little reinforcements coming in with the robot.
Oh, Kenji on his retreat ends up feeding into that robot. We will see that defensive play here from Navi as they now race to get to the back right. It's a Choppy and Levi that need to stay alive. Meanwhile, Response is trying to charge in, but the robot is ready to go for anyone. Kenji sacrifices himself once again just to keep it on the back right. Levi with the maintaining of these gems. They're all over his head now, and he's in the back left. Keep in mind, he has the ability to heal up, which is going to make him extra beefy, but here comes the teleport down from Geki. Just a few seconds left. Sago rejected on the outset of that dash in. Needs his super to stay alive, but he's rejected at every single turn. The final super from Levi to keep himself alive confirms the game win.
Nicely done. What should be a match point here. One more game to go, and Navi will continue throughout the lower bracket. They've got a bounty, and they're one game closer to catching a win. Kenji just casually 1v2ing, by the way, on that right-hand lane. It's an unbelievable brawler right now, and I think especially when there's so many moving parts in 5v5 in particular, we'll call it 6v5 now that there's an angry robot running around. It's just so good to have options for healing with your regular shot. A dashing super that keeps you indestructible. It's hard to predict where that thing is going to go to. You really have to keep your head on a swivel against Kenji.
The only real consistent thing with Kenji is that, well, wherever he uses his super from, you know he's going to be returning to that one position after he, uses his super. But with him being so fresh, that muscle memory isn't built into everyone's brains just yet. But I did observe in some previous games where a team was playing into that Kenji that they were waiting under the spot where he was bound to return from his super. The only issue, though, is that Kenji has 1,000,000,001 other things in his kit that are going to make him super valuable in close range, especially the ability to heal any recently taken damage has got to be one of the strongest things about a brawler that is supposed to be an assassin, but instead actually becomes a bit of a tank.
Very powerful healing mechanism there. One of the best gadgets in the game right now, I think. His introduction has been nothing short of fun and chaotic, which is perfect for the night we're having. First time as well, Angelic starting off hot. They are going to be ones with the gym count lead. A little dive in from Mortis, who's gotten powered up with a hypercharge more recently. Love seeing him on the fun. And there goes Kenji dashing away. Response trying to play defense just long enough to survive. Angelic will hold on to their gyms for now.
Angelic, they had to play defense around Levi over here, but they simply really aren't able to. You see that super from Levi. Geki knew that he had to get away from where that Kenji just used his super, but wasn't able to do so. That was a chain super by Levi. He picks up yet another kill, and that Manny super was going absolutely nowhere. Obviously aiming for this cluster around the bottom left, but wasn't able to do so. Another super from the Kenji to stay alive. All these gems spill onto the ground in the back left corner, but Levi is not able to reach it. The robot is now fighting for Angelic's side to keep the gem safe.
Robot doesn't pick sides. It's whoever's in front of his face, he's throwing a fist. And unfortunately, that kind of played both roles. It certainly did not help Angelic in that moment. A major pushback from the hypercharge as well. Stuns going down from the Sandy super in response, just trying to stay alive. In the meantime, what's gone from bad goes to worse here for Angelic as blue team starts countdown.
Uh-oh, but all the gems dropped to the ground, but Mortis can't get out of there. He dashed at least twice into the same Twister response. Pops the super. He's got all the healing in the world. The TP out to stay safe, but Angelic still don't have this countdown. They need one more to stay in it. Navi, on the other hand, are 4 gems away from starting a countdown of their own. Here's Levi deeply implanted in the back lines, but was not able to keep this countdown from being started for Angelic. That's 13 gems over the head of Draco in the back center.
Beautifully played, and now the robot going to be shepherding the other way. Levi looking to try and make a connection. Response barely alive right now. 86, the magic number. Angelic will continue their tournament lives, and now we get a dog on the camp celebrating. What a night.
Yo, what's a dog doing out here? Yo, and why is he posing like that? Man's feeling cute, looking cute. Dude, that is the dog of victory right there. Thank you,
He's
Jay,
smiling. I like this guy.
This is okay. You know, it was something about me that was striking him. He was certainly smiling. My goodness. What? Wait, was the dog actually the one piloting the device the entire time? I have a theory.
Mark?
Yeah. Well, does account sharing only apply to other humans?
That's a great question, Reddy. I think if that dog played, they more than deserve the win. I think that would be my stance. I think if anything, it's more impressive.
Yeah, can we make up a bounty right now?
If we could have a bounty for whoever's dog can catch a victory, I might chip in the 500 myself. That would be rather impressive in my books. The robot, though, the people's choice at home at event.brawlstars.com certainly had an active role here. Look at this man chasing bodies down. It actually played very poorly for Angelic in that third game where they ended up clutching up. They drop all 4 of those gems on the top left, I believe. Robot comes in punching, gets a takedown, but thankfully AGC very clutch there, and I think in large part due to that great teleport.
Yeah, the robot was a bit of a traitor here. He completely switched sides. Let's also keep in mind that despite an Angelic victory in this set, Navi still did win that bounty. Isn't that interesting? They started the countdown for basically a nanosecond, and then they dropped all of the gems where Angelic were able to snipe that one up. They had Mortis on the case to kill the gem carrier and carry all of, well, now Angelic's gems to the opposing side, where they were safe and sound. But in both cases where Angelic did get that countdown and counted all the way down to 0 for the victory, we saw Navi hot on their heels, Mortis dashing away from certain demise, and in the last one as well, Kenji from Navi really encroaching on that respawn on the Angelic side, nearly interrupting the countdown.
1-1 overall, lower bracket. Both of these teams fighting to continue in our September spectacle. A spectacle it has been, Ready. Us 2 sheriffs here have had quite the show so far. All of these teams have been a ton of fun to watch. Finishing up this match with
Never gonna give, never gonna give.
27.
Never gonna give. We've known each other
From these teams
for so long. You're anything but. You're just not to we don't know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand.
A bit of a different one. We're headed over to Shuffle City for Knockout this time. Bit of a different flavor. Note the Indestructibles that have come down, which will hopefully lean to some different gameplay. Maybe some throwers can get into the mix, because previously it's been the sharpshooters that reign supreme. But I do think that Mr. P is, you could almost call him a hybrid of a thrower and a sharpshooter, given that he can attack over walls with his suitcase bouncing. Might find some value here, and we'll get to see some of those meaty porters come out again.
I think he plays such a pivotal role here as well, because a lot of the times on Knockout, maybe not as much on this map in particular, we'll see it, but into sharpshooters, traditionally having the porters goes really well for yourself too. But just looking at this map, you see launch pads to get yourself to the other side / the middle. I think throwers are going to be very valuable here. Here's the pseudo thrower in Mr. P that we mentioned, El Primo, just to give him tons of health points. I like pairing that with Kit. We saw that a little bit earlier. Tick, I imagine, going to be one of the most popular picks on our ladder. I think for good reason. This is a map that seems to cater to throwers, and I would love to see nothing more ready than a one-on-one in the middle of this map. Indestructible L-shaped walls, a little cactus in the middle. I'd love to see a little fist fight towards the end here. I think that could be a lot of fun.
This is also what Angelic decided to opt for last time when they went to some of the 5v5 knockout action. They went for the Kit, they went for that Primo, but instead of the Tick, they actually opted to go for Barry. Instead, they also didn't have Mo on the case, they had Angelo instead. So a couple of adjustments from the last time. I'm surprised, though, that the things that got swapped out weren't the Kit and the Primo, which, if you ask me, were possibly the issues. Perhaps they see something that I don't. That's definitely the case, given the fact that they've decided to stick with it. But Na'Vi are going to be mirroring that Primo mentality across the way.
I love it. Tick coming in as well. I want to see an in-game 1v1 El Primo. This is my wish. There's no bounty for it. I wish I could, but it should be fun nonetheless. I think Barry is an interesting one as well for the heals, especially as Barry gets powered up. Keep in mind, too, if you're just joining us, if you're in 5v5 knockout, every time you get a takedown, your enemy brawlers get powered up. Imagine it like a power cube in something like Solo Showdown, except even better. Launch pads galore, indestructible walls, and plenty of chaos to be had here. This is set number 3. It is win or go home for both Navi and Angelic here.
As far as power players here, I'm expecting to see Ken G on the stick. Not on Ken G. Now that's going to be an important distinction to make, since he shares a name with the brawler. But across the way, Angelic have a Tick of their own. So this mid area of the map is going to be basically no man's land. No one's going to want to head in there. We'll see Ken G already has his first super, and same goes for Response, who's piloting the Tick on the opposite side. It's really just the preparation phase for the final moment. We'll see an aggressive Tick super in, actually quite easily dealt with by the members of Angelic so far. No major advantage for either team, just preparation for the final moments where everyone's going to try and get their supers ready to go.
There was definitely first blood on the map we saw earlier for Knockout, but this one feels like it could be a little more defensive. I think HEC smelled blood, though, and they're willing to take some control. They're going to go for a little extra damage, and Barry is just going to cover the entire side of this map for his teammates, and it's going to be so easy to heal off of. I love this decision to go Barry. Look how much coverage they have, how many heals they have, and I think this is going to come down to the wire here.
I look at Suzuku over here. First of all, he still needs to get that teleport, but when he does, he'll have the ability to actually teleport out of that mid area. So if they have the health advantage in the final parts of the game, then they'll be able to escape quite easily, and they have the healing to keep themselves alive. Blood drawn across the way. We'll see Sago jump in with Geki on his back for the assist. Suzuku's at mid. He's ready for the TP out, but it's only going to help him escape death for a moment longer. He does have a bit of help to work with. Could go for the TP in. Instead, perishes in the poison. And Angelic get round number 1.
Gray is not the brawler you want to have in a 1v3 scenario. He's a single shot brawler, all of them fully healthy, and this is the combination we saw earlier. Kit plus El Primo. It's already very strong on normal ladder. What's pairing it with some super powered ones as well? Here comes an immediate retaliation, though. Mameshi could be in trouble here a little bit. Actually, a double tag right-hand side. Levi caught off guard, all alone, diving in. A super powered kick. Primo here gets the kill. Suzuku swinging in, willing to trade his life at that too. Lots of blood being drawn here in our round 2.
Well, things have equalized to this 3v3 now. Hey, it's just like good old times. The September 3v3 spectacular. Well, here comes a neutralized tick super in. Mines litter the ground. It was a total stalemate in those terms. When we look at Angelic, though, I think that they have the better synergy. Sago's going to come in, absolutely deletes Mameshi. It's still a 3v2. Navi have more health and damage, but I do think Kit is going to have the upper hand in this matchup just against Kenji. That's what Choppy's here for, is he's going to have a stun and some ability to deal with Geki, who's deleted too. It's down to a 2v2 once more.
There's no room for error. I mean, the Choppy basically got a one-tap. There's a tick super that just got a kill here as well. On the other end, though, Mr. Krabs had a little assistance. Not enough from the graveyard, though. But Choppy at stage 4, going against Response at 3. Sago at 3. That's a lot of health points on the other end, even for somebody that's as high of a damage dealer as Mo.
Wow, I'm surprised that Choppy was able to take down that hypercharged tick super. It is just owing to the damage advantage that he boasts right now. Sago is going to be forced to fight here against a Choppy who has that dash in as well as the stun combined with it. He can go for 2, but here comes a jump in from Sago. A Choppy tries to return fire, but Sago has the advantage in terms of health. Couldn't get it, though. The poison tick for too much damage, and it's our second knockout tie we've seen today.
If you're the side of Navi, that tie feels like a victory, and things get real interesting here. If Navi come away with a round, that would be a tie overall. If Angelic win this round, though, it's still a clean sweep. They would be winning this game.
No blood drawn just yet, but I do see some hypercharges on the field. Levi in particular, it would be a bit foolish to go for this in the early game, unless he's able to solo out Response and Jay on this left side, which he's certainly hoping to do as they further encroach on Navi's territory. On the top side, Kenji is holding back this top lane quite effectively. Geki is flashing to super, which means that he's ready to jump on a teammate to keep them alive for a push in. The only issue, though, is that at the current moment, Primo doesn't have a super.
Navi going to need some more firepower. Mameshi receiving a heavy hit there, needs to be careful. Now they have control of this indestructible wall side. It's finally Angelic on the defensive. We haven't seen a lot of Navi aggression yet. This is what we need to see if they want a chance to tie things up in this game.
Still no advantage just yet. The tick super on the left side is dealt with quite handily. Levi at mid is still boasting this hypercharge and super combo. Look at Sago and Geki, the duo over here, but soon enough, we're going to see Kit detach, a super in from Suzuku, and he's punished heavily. Blood drawn across the way, with one member for each team missing. But now this poison's going to start closing everyone in. If they don't already beat each other to death first, a couple of kills out here, it's just a Mo and a Primo alive for Angelic.
Now it's a 2v2 situation. Navi need this one desperately. 11,000 HP of a porter, but Levi diving in strong. Fire going down. The Primo one-on-one, and Levi in the air actually preserved his life. I think that may have been what cost him the game.
You got what you wished for, Kenny. We finally got to see Primo 1v1, and it all came down to 6,000 health. Or 600 health. Do you realize how little that is when your two Primos have 32,000 health apiece? It might as well be equivalent to 1 HP on a normal day at Brawl Stars, but this is no ordinary game. This is knockout here, 5v5 style, and the Primos are going to town.
Lots of things to break down there. First of all, it's rare that you get a tie in a round for knockout. And now we get a tie for a full game of knockout. And on top of that, it really could have been because of that gadget. He threw him over his shoulders, and because of that, he's in the air. I don't think gas applies if you're in the air, and I think 672 HP was just enough to get him through. Here we go again. 1-1 overall. Reset. It's like that game never happened, but we know full well plenty of action went down. I expect nothing less in another attempt here.
And both teams are now fully aware of the opponent's strategy. They might also seek an opportunity to adjust their own approach to this. based on the lessons that they learned throughout game number 1, even though it's not propelling either team to match point as it stands. An attempt at a gadget there from Suzuku. He's just out of range of the intended target, so he didn't get that pull. Here comes another super in from Response, which is dealt with quite easily. It's the same dynamic that we've seen in every 5v5 mode with, since there are so many enemies that don't mind taking damage, a brawler like Tick is churning out one super after the next.
Yeah, constant rotation of that. You see Hiroshi on the bottom end as well, ready to go. Those Mo supers where he can burrow underground, get up in the face of enemies have been very valuable here. A hypercharge instantly, Levi punching away, and Mines covering the entire map. This time it's Navi going to be on the back heels. We saw them tested in round number 1 of our first game, and now in the redo here, can they right the wrongs of what they did earlier?
Angelic have the same strat ready to go. A Tick super in, and nothing really resulting though. Sago's got in with the gadget, but Levi eliminates him in the Primo 1v1. Navi boasts the advantage for now, but every member of Angelic is currently powered up. Levi might fall. He's got to go for the jump in. Doesn't really accomplish much, but a Choppy on the left side might be able to take down Hiroshi. There's one. Stun from Geki. Memeshi looks for the kill and gets it. It's a powerful response in Jay. The final couple members of Angelic. A Choppy gets some of the damage, but eliminated by the hypercharged Tick, as Jay was just moments from falling on the exterior of these Indestructibles.
He was moments from falling even before he got powered up. He body blocked with the porters, and that's why Mr. P can be so good here. In 3v3, nothing special, unfortunately, but in this 5v5 situation, the porters fully blocked Gray. It boxed him out. It's a single shot brawler. He can't focus on multiple targets. And as a result, Jay is able to survive for the long haul, gets down into that 1v1, and is just enough HP to get Angelic the advantage. They're looking for game number 1 of this set 3 here.
Different angle from what we've seen previously. It's going to be a bit of an east versus west situation. But Angelic are slowly enveloping this top side, and it could become top versus bottom once again. Some damage coming in from Kenji, the Tick player for Navi. It's got to be getting close to his super. Here comes a Tick super in from Angelic. That's Response on the Tick. Whoa! Sago and Geki are tossing people up with these Primo gadgets. They're soon to separate, but for now, they do have an advantage by just one man. Hypercharge, Tick super in, but it's not really going to make any impact. It's dealt with on the bottom side as it's launched from the side of Navi. Another kill on a Suzuku, and Angelic are 5 strong against Navi with only 3.
Numbers advantage for Angelic, but powered up Navi might be enough. Kenji gets the first. Now it's going to be a 4v3 situation. Geki and Sago, such a powerful combination. One kit super can change the entire dynamic here, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Lobbing up some yarn as Kenji goes down. 2 powerful Navi enemies on the other end. Mo, one of the most powerful brawlers in the game, gonna need some serious damage output. Levi willing to dive in here, though. A dive in from a Choppy as well. Multiple brawlers punching away. It's a fist fight here for the in-game. Levi popping a hypercharge. A lot of HP, but this time it's AGC surviving and starting us off in set 3 with a match point.
The use of the abilities was simply on point for Angelic. Primo in particular towards the end of that game, where, yes, we saw the Primo super in from the side of Navi. Yes, he made an impact. He got rid of that Mr. P porter, but when that super is not taking down those most impactful enemies, the Primo, that's going to have way too much health for you to churn through in the end, that's a huge, huge issue. We saw in particular also Primo from, well, of course, getting massive damage with the gadget towards the end, keeping enemies airborne and preventing them from attacking in the end, chaining everything together. Nicely done, Angelic.
I really do feel like the kit in El Primo, something to watch there. And I think this is a note in general for Knockout. This is something Angelic had now done multiple times, not just on this map, but in previous ones as well. I think it's a winning strategy. Both teams, though, rearing and ready to go here early in round number 1. A Tick super not quite connecting now on the other end, an attempt, but a Choppy will quickly take that down. Each side just trying to gather as much utility as possible. Every single super is going to make a difference, and Kit already having one is a big deal.
We're going to see Kit and Primo combine forces once again from the side of Angelic towards the bottom side. They're looking for the aggression, and keep in mind that Gray has already fallen on the side of Navi. There's another. Mo will fall, and Angelic continue their dominion. Another onto Primo. It's 5 versus 2.
This is the social experiment. Our two powered-up brawlers, better than 5 on the other end. Navi certainly going to put that to the test here, but it's 2 throwers, certainly more challenging. A very heavy tick super. Going to connect the other one, though, a great distraction, and now Kenji gonna have to quickly heal up. Mameshi, however, has an easier go at that. Now it is going to be a 4v1. Mameshi claims 1. Response lobbing up shots, and Hiroshi needs to close this gap. A big, bad berry is the only thing that's keeping Navi alive.
There's a tick super in for a bit of entry damage, but Mameshi can out-heal all of this damage. He's not even bothered. He's going to super over to Mameshi, 2-shots him. But Geki has this stun. He's able to nullify Mameshi's ability to throw the shots on the ground. Response comes in for the kill. Mameshi did his best, but still was bested by Angelic. They're 1 round away from eliminating Navi, making them the first team sent out of the APAC Spectacle.
Mameshi threw down so many heals to the point where Barry was absorbing it all. It truly took a stun and the wearing down of the ice cream on the ground to give them a fighting chance. Things could have really gotten out of hand there. Speaking of out of hand, Levi diving in. Now a dive away from Sago as well. Yarn balls being lobbed up. Kenji barely holding on. All of this action going down at once, and somehow nobody has gone down.
Well, Kenji might be the first. That one suitcase from Jay could have sent him packing. A hypercharged super in from Kenji. Nicely deposited on the enemy side. Angelic joined forces to combine and take it down. We'll see Navi make a unified push to get Angelic all the way to the top side of the map. Suzuku does strike gold with that gadget, but doesn't end up pulling any enemy in particular. The first kill is going to happen on the side of Navi. Angelic are still 5 strong. It's a 5v3, but they need to take down Levi as soon as possible, because at the moment, with 20,000 health, he's going to be able to withstand basically anything from Angelic.
If they're going to be down to 3 brawlers, this might be the best 3 combination for themselves. Choppy with the super, a hypercharge at the ready for Levi. Mameshi with so many heals. Levi just willing to dive in, knowing he has a jump at a moment's notice. I think targeting that Primo on purpose too. Ideally, that would have been one of the targets they brought down. A Choppy with a quick kill as well. Now down to a 3v4. Heals being distributed as well, but Geki is ready to go with El Primo.
They've combined once again. Mameshi's going in for something aggro. Hiroshi looks for the stun. He gets it. Levi in with the jump, but enemy Primo takes to the skies. Levi is bound to fall. A Choppy has so much health to work with, though. The final flying elbow drop in. A Choppy out of the machine, but still eliminated by Geki, and Angelic remain victorious.
A win for Angelic, which means Navi are going home. But I don't mind seeing a little victory for the pup on the screen. What a cute doggo to have riding alongside. It's almost not fair, ready. It's a 6v5 now because they've got a dog.
That I need to see more of this. Why he looks like he's smiling and he's sitting so politely. Surely he's the one that's been pressing the green button. Who needs to play claw when you can actually just have your dog's paw?
That's right. No claw, use paw. That's what I've always said. What a well-sophisticated young man there. Good for him. Good for him being on the winning side. And again, love the strategy of Kit plus El Primo. Kit plus tank is already very powerful in the game, especially if done right. And I'm curious if we see any adaptations of this later on. Keep in mind, this is no longer 3v3. This is 5v5. You've got options. Will they go for the super healing combinations? What can you pull off with a Byron plus a Kit plus a Pam plus a Poco? I would love to see people get crazy with it. But at the end of the day, they're going to go for something safe and steady here. Great highlights there. A little celebration from Jay as they will be advancing on. I don't believe they've gotten a bounty yet. So Navi did come away with one there. At least they're leaving with a little extra cash, but Angelic staying alive will have another fighting day ahead of themselves.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Angelic because in spite of fighting all the way to the bitter end to shut down Navi, they didn't manage to earn a bounty while doing it. What they have done for themselves is opened up future opportunities to get bounties. That is the way that you really win the spectacle. Keep in mind, there's also a cash prize for winning the entire thing. But they're in the lower bracket. They're 1 loss away from being eliminated. The same can't be said for the 2 combatants waiting on the upper side of the bracket, though.
We've seen that matchup quite a few times. Obviously, this is an invitational, so some of the best players in the entire APAC region will be competing. We've got CR versus Rival Esports on the way. What a match to have ready. Already fun in 3v3. Now let's let some of the best mechanical players in the entire world go against each other here in our upper bracket.
And when you say the best mechanical players in the world, also, let's remind ourselves that Over the course of a grueling year-long competition, by circuit points, these two are the best teams in the region, but they are joined by the forces of a couple of other rosters as well, so there's bound to be some sort of difference too.
Will Angelic catch a 2-1 victory? We've got some heavy hitters on our upper bracket. Don't go too far, folks. We will be right back after a quick break.
Snapdragon Pro Series Brawl Stars Championship is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Got to be for whoever you want to be.
Es el único que ha insultado. Finales mensuales juego Crash. 4, 5, todas. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. La respuesta es 3, ¿eh? La respuesta es 3. Ya estaría. Fin sacado. Vamos a ponerlo en Twitter, ¿o qué? ¿Lo ponemos en Twitter? Vamos a ponerlo en Twitter un segundo, ¿vale?
Well, folks, the September spectacle continues here. We've had one team already eliminated here from competition in that lower bracket. It was Na'Vi, of course, who fell to Angelic. The latter will advance to take on the loser of our next matchup. It's going to be Crazy Raccoon going on knockout. Quite the series there, Kenny. Very back and forth stuff. Na'Vi even getting a bounty on the way out. They're doing it right. We'll see them later on, of course, next year, that is. Well, still up to that LCQ, but now we've got this matchup of heavyweights going on in this upper final.
Should be a fun one, to say the least. I mean, already top 2 seeds in the region. Now they're competing for bounties, for glory, and the first 5v5 champion we've ever darn seen here in Brawl Stars. A lot of action to get underway.
Got to crown a 5v5 champion. That was the last box to tick before we get over towards Worlds. I've got to say, though, Ready Set, we're seeing a lot of this El Primo and Kit combination. Do you think we see it from CR and Rival in their matchup if we get knockouts?
Well, seeing as it's been a hit or miss so far, I have to wonder. It seems to only really work if your opponent is also running something tanky and then you can out-heal them in that scenario. That's where we saw this most often won with that Kit and Primo combination. So Crazy Raccoon and Rival Esports can certainly leverage it to their advantage, but it's worth noting that Rival Esports defeated an Angelic who was using the strategy.
Now, looking back over the bracket so far here, we obviously saw Crazy Raccoon with a pretty close game against Na'Vi. In fact, they had to come back after dropping that first set, but they did so in style with 2 Brawl Ball maps. They eventually recovered and bounced into the upper final. Rival over Angelic, though, was a little bit more of an open and shut affair. This Rival team, combined, of course, with Ryohei and Kuru from FA Nidug, look very, very good. That's, Kenny, what makes this particular matchup extremely exciting. You've got a collection of 10 of some of the best players in this region. 2 teams already make it to Worlds, and they brought their friends along for the ride, who are no slouches either.
Their friends just happen to be pro players. What can I say? We've got some of the best from 3R Gaming and some of the best from Nidug. There are world champions joining this roster, which I think just goes to show the caliber of competition we have. Ready? You got us this time. We had Rival before. This time, though, you held your faith. You went with Angelic. Good for you, lad. And you're going to be fighting us once again. Looks like Uber and I are going with Rival, while you go with CR, which, you know, I said it earlier. I've never been against CR, I don't think, until right now. This might be my first time ever wagering against them.
Well, I can only recall one occurrence where I was against CR in favor of Rival, but this is one of my other ride or die. Angelic till I die and Crazy Raccoon till I die. If they face each other, my friends, unfortunately, there is an order of operations in terms of the favoritism. It's got to be Crazy Raccoon on top.
Yes. Every time I predict Na'Vi, they lose. Every time. What it is, man, is crazy. They, though, of course, are going to be happy with at least what they've been able to scoop up from their showing so far. Look, I don't know about this. I actually think what is so exciting to me is the extra players that Rival have added to their roster. These Nidug players who recently have looked really good in tournaments in that region. I think they're a really stacked roster of 5 players, and that's to take nothing away from Sakura and Yume, by the way. but I think Rival pound for pound might have put together a stronger roster.
It is interesting. I mean, it's hard to ever envision a stronger roster than the 3 members that CR have on paper, including this man right here, Tensai. Very powerful, but like you said, I think Nidug on paper had some strong players coming into this season. A roster of gentlemen that have been very accomplished in this region in the past. It didn't quite translate for this season in 5 short months. They just didn't happen to break away into something like an LCQ spot, but that's not to take away from what they did, obviously. IC, Yume, both very strong players joining CR, but I'm with you. I really think to pick up some Rival, add a little something to it. Plus, it's chaotic. It's 5v5. You never know what's going to happen. I feel like there's going to be something that surprised me tonight, so that's kind of where I went with here, Uber.
Absolutely. We're going to let Ready, Set, Step aside as we jump into this one. Again, with 5v5, one of the most interesting things for me is how they fit Chitampo's Twitter handle in amongst the rest of his team. Nicely done. They've just squeezed it on in there. That is impressive. Rival had a pretty easy game up against Angelic, advancing through that upper bracket semi-final to start things off. They are Milkryo, Shu, and Melty from the original Rival team. Ryohei and Kuru here to round it out on an FA Nidug team that were, I would say, dark horses through most of this APAC year and have recently started to look very, very good. So a lot to be excited about for this team. Again, it's a bit of a fantasy roster we've kind of thrown together. Poor Ready Set. He got him on screen. You guys just chilling.
Oh,
He's just taking a break. He doesn't even have his headset on. Yeah, he's got no idea.
Is that
what I look like when I'm off duty? Because honestly, that's not the worst.
All right. The people at home just get a little dive into what we do on our breaks. He's probably just chirping away on Twitter.
So we have Gem Grab up first in the series. That much is certain. We're going to Snowflakes, but your modifier, folks, that is what is up for vote. Event.brawlstars.com. Head over there to cast your vote. You could have a say, an influence on how this map is going to go, this match rather. Again, it is the bottom line of modifiers that are available for selection here. That is Meteor Shower, Super Bushy, Supercharged, Top Dog, and Unlimited Power. I think in Gem Grab, it'd be interesting to see Unlimited Power, but our voters, they tend to kind of stick with the same thing. So I have a hunch it'll be Meteor Shower yet again.
Yeah, that would be my educated guess too. Super Bushy could be fun for some particular brawlers with speed gear maybe. I think the Supercharge could be an interesting one just to generate a little extra oomph. Some more supers going down always make it a little bit more fun. I may mix it up and go Supercharge here, Uber. I think that's where I'm going to cast my vote. We'll see what they'll do. It looks kind of close, actually. I think Meteor Shower is probably the favorite to win this. It is chaotic. It is crazy. I don't know.
Any modifier that gets teams to fight more often, I think, is fun. Graveyard Shift and Supercharge. Guys at home, you can vote for those ones. So I do want to see what comes up there. But looks like we're probably getting Meteor Shower here with 38% of your vote here. And again, this is a pretty big map, so we'll see if those meteors matter. It definitely just throws a hint of randomness, I think, into things.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I think the people at home have enjoyed the Angry Robot multiple times. Anything to just insert a little bit of extra work for these players. Obviously, there's no, like, zone closing in or anything like a KO. This is going to be Gym Grab, but it would be kind of fun if some meteors just started spewing on top of where these gyms are spawned, because that would make it rather difficult to grab the objective.
Here is your map, folks. Snowflakes is a 5 versus 5 Gem Grab map. And again, it's pretty darn bushy. You see a lot of the maps sort of covered by this stuff. And again, some of our 5v5 Gem Grab maps are, with 2 gem wells. That means that the threshold starts at 20 gems. Some are just single well. A lot of Crazy Raccoon fans out there at event.brawlstars.com. And look, I can't blame you guys. They've been electric all year. But yeah, we've gone against the grain. We predicted Rival here just because we feel this combination of 5 players looks very, very slick, very, very solid. But either way, this upper final might even be a preview of what we get in our grand final. I'll be honest with you. That's because there's a good chance that the loser makes their way through that lower bracket, unless, of course, Angelic has something to say about it. So, our picks are starting to come in here. We have the Kenji knocked in for Chitampo. Definitely wants to go there. We saw that from him in the first series on Brawl Ball. And again, the Bell seems to be so high priority. In fact, these compositions are starting to look really similar. Crazy Raccoon really like the stopping power of that Sandy. Of course, the map control offered by the Sandstorm, the all-in potential of Mo, and of course, that defensive utility offered by Gale.
This is pretty identical to what we saw earlier, and it seems like they did not shy away from Kenji, which I don't think they should. Satapo, already a great player, now an aggressive, powerful brawler, is just a recipe for a win. Having in the Sandstorm here adds a little additional help for yourself and some good utility. Gale, a powerful brawler, Mo, a powerful brawler, and Bell, something that's quickly become one of my favorite appearances here tonight. I think between the damage amplifier, the nest eggs, the bouncing damage, it just makes a lot of sense in a mode where you want to focus on multiple enemies.
Again, this is a mode that can go a little longer, so bringing the Clancy in here definitely seems to be the pick, but you are seeing on both these teams, or rather, at least on Rival, the three most recently added brawlers to the game. Kenji, Mo, and Clancy. Definitely very powerful. We tend to see new brawlers come into the game and definitely sort of look attractive in terms of what their kit offers, and they're all a little bit different. We've seen the Mo be very, very good, can go aggressive, can also cancel that super as well, that Mo's machine, and step back and go back to throwing rocks at you. And we know that Clancy, especially on a map that doesn't have any like hard cover, i.e. one that's just bushy, that super covers a lot of ground. You can get a lot of information from it, and it hits extremely hard once you get to level 3. They won't, of course, have the Sandstorm for that extra cover, but let's see how it plays out. Of course, this is a 2-gem well map, so 20 is our threshold.
A lot going down on this map, too. The middle covered by a section of trees. Shu immediately showing off what Kenji can do, though. On the other end, Satapo getting crazy with it. It's going to be a Kenji show, not to be mistaken with the player name. That's going to be the newest brawler in the game, of course. Nice takedown as CR going to be able to claim this right-hand side, but on the other end, Rival Esports working it. It's going to be each end trying to grab a hold. Think of it like a parallel plays almost. That's kind of how you play this.
Yeah, the map is being split right now, so both teams are getting unfettered access to their respective wells, which means that it can't go to a sort of countdown situation as the round drags on, eventually forcing a fight. Nicely done, Penside just blows up their Shu, goes in with that super, and Yumagoku lucky to be alive. Melty's still holding on to 5 gems here. Crazy Raccoon, though, Moya has 10, and we'll be able to set up some of those nest eggs. We'll be forced back, though, by one of those meteors that you voted for. One of the modifiers here already throwing some chaos in. And Shu getting very scary with that super. Tensai realizing, though, if you dodge it in a similar way to the Grom bombs, it's an X shape, so you step to the side, and you can usually be safe.
If you can remember the pattern and where it initially makes contact, you're exactly right. It's a little tight, it's hard, it's quick, but it is possible. 15 gyms now for CR. Keep in mind, it is 20 on these 2 gym mine maps. So they're working for more gyms than usual. Melty putting up a good fight on this left-hand side. Shu lurking as well. Kuru looking to close the gap against Moya. 337. What a touch from Moya, though. Gets the takedown, survives, and even grants his team a countdown.
And all that Sakura has to do over the course of the round is get a couple of gems from Rivals well, and then he's home free. Super there comes in from Shu. All those gems get dropped, and Yumagoki sends the super the wrong way. Shu's able to get in. A lot of gems dropped here in the spawn of Crazy Raccoon. They can recover those. That's not the issue. It's about how many they're going to have after they scoop them up. They're going to be short of the threshold now at 18 inches. Yumagoku falls. Able to at least go 1 for 1 there. Sakura gets rid of Rio here, but Shu's able to come in and scoop up the gems. Milk Rio just needs 1 more. They've got a countdown. Crazy Raccoon have got to go aggressive. Sakura steps up with super available now. But of course, that hypercharged super from Sandy going to make it mean Rival can play pretty safely within the bounds of it.
And CR need to gather at least 2 gems to tie this up. They're going to dive in. All the gems being spilled out, though. 4 on the clock. 37 gems in the pocket of Rival. Have you ever seen so many gems on one side? Really well played in a banger of a first game here.
Ridiculous stuff, but ultimately, it's going to be Rival that end up taking the round away, and it all comes down to that Kenji dive. There's just nothing that Crazy Raccoon can really do once a high health Kenji is able to jump on them. They try and use Yumagoku's, Gale ultimate, rather, to stop the Kenji from coming in, but gets timed really well. There's a super that allows the Kenji to dodge it. Yes, Tensai, not impressed with how that round went. Big shout out, though, to Squad Busters shirt, representing.
I do respect it. The old clash with Optimus Prime. Been pretty cool. Been playing the event myself a little bit. Been a lot of fun, to be honest with you. Really been enjoying the game recently.
Yeah, the updates have been very good coming back to Squad Busters. Enjoying sort of the later game, the later rounds rather in each match. We'll come back mechanic there, but I digress. Those exist here in Brawl as well, no doubt about it. Boy, they're getting flat so far by Shu. Yeah, it looks like he's very easily able to push up and build a super already. Going to come in with it right now. Yumagoku takes a bit of a hit from it. Now Kuru's going to dive on in. Yumagoku very low, throws him a twist, but still can't get away. And Rival collapses its right side. They've got most of the map under their thumb.
Melty needs to be careful, though. Another beautiful connection from Moya, but a huge savior for his team so far. The Bell gameplay unreal right now. Shu being focused down as CR looking to retake this left-hand side. Rival on the right. Complete control. They've got Gale being the main primary gym carrier there, so it's back to more normalcy where each side has a dominant entry to these gyms.
The problem is Crazy Raccoon gets that left side of the map, but the 5 gems that spawned there are still in the hands of Melty. So Rival now can literally just play one side of the map and get an earlier countdown in virtue of being ahead by so many gems. Shu deals with Tensai yet again. That right side is completely canvassed by Rival, but there it is. That's the dive from Shitampo. Able to get those gems that Melty was holding on to. Ryohei, though, pops super. Able to get them dropped yet again. Shu trying to regress on a Moya, but again, that positive feedback shield keeps him alive a little longer. Sakura now has to step in, scoop them up. It's going to be a stun catcher by the looks of things there from Tensai to try and push up on the left. Milqueo handling Yumagoku for the time being. But there's another super from Shu. Can he pop it again? Cycling through those. Tensai down to 3,000. Eventually, though, Shu is dealt with. And Crazy Raccoon have all the gems this time.
Moya running away as quickly as he can. 13 in his back pocket. That is the primary focus for the side of Rival. 5 on the shot clock as Shu moves in. The focus all on him. A super available. Connects with Moya. 2,500. And it is enough to preserve his life. CR tying things up here.
Shitampo on that Kenshi, able to make a big play on the left side, diving all the way in to Rival spawn to get those 5 or 6 gems that Melty had picked up. It gets traded back and forth, but eventually Crazy Raccoon start to get big map control. And if you're Rival, you have such a big head start in that game. You actually have both gem wells under your control and end up being ahead by like 5 because your max is in enemy territory.
Todos esos, ¿vale? Me quedan 850 puntos. ¿Tú crees que lo consigo? Los conseguís todos, chicos, tranquilo. Que van a regalar por ver el directo.
Yu also runs into the twister on the dash component of its attack, so he needs to use another piece of ammunition to get that dash back again. He has to cycle back to the mobility sort of component of his auto attack. And that costs him. He can no longer close the gap on Crazy Raccoon, who are dominating this map so far. They had it all under control. They got almost every single gem that spawned at the start of the game. Super there from Shu. Good damage, but no elimination. Tensai trying to walk away, but there's another gadget into super from Shu. Gets Tensai down. Now Rival have a foothold. Picked up a couple of gems. Milqueo so low and marked up. It's an easy kill for Shitampo. Crazy Raccoon threatening an early countdown.
All the gyms on the right-hand side. They've grabbed a 19th. It's going to take a takedown at this point. There's not enough gyms being spawned in the middle of the map for them to grab these. It's going to come down to a pushback there. An unfortunate meteor on this right-hand side, but without the pressure coming in from Rival Esports at this time, they're able to simply dodge it. Melty juggling his way down the right-hand side, trying to make a connection. A phase shift, not enough. Tensai with a takedown. Moya holding on for dear life, and even the best brawler in the game right now isn't enough to take down these mechanical wizards.
Such insane play from Tensai in that round. He is not carrying any gems, but he's playing Sandy. So no one wants to get close to him. They want to avoid him and try and dive on the members of his team that are actually carrying the gems. So what does Tensai do? Walk right at the enemy. Force them to answer the threat of the Sandy. And at one point, the Kenshi from Rival has to burn a gadget use just to try and get past Tensai, let alone try to eliminate them. Tensai long since burned through his stun gadgets, but was a real problem. He just stood in the way. And if you are going to close on Sandy, you are going to walk into their effective range. Great showing here. Crazy Raccoon with some role assignments that really allow these brawler picks to shine.
Shu with a couple big takedowns there as well. Really impressive stuff. Love the heads-up play of dropping that twister as well. It allowed them to hold on to just enough gems to keep themselves in this game. And then they moved on to game number 2. After Rival caught a nice victory and a little bit of a comeback, CR take things away here. They hold on for one, do it again for a second game. So Crazy Raccoon will be taking advantage in our best 2 of 3. A little bit different than our normal monthly finals. And we do get to see a nice smile from Tensai, which isn't something we always get to see in the competitive level. This is a little more free reign.
He zipped it up. He's reined it back in. We're back to business, folks. Make no mistake.
Nope.
Now, again, we are going to have a bounty coming up on the next map. So these two teams, of course, will be looking to vie for those, haven't taken away their respective bounties. Again, getting a second bounty here means that you're up $1,000 extra in prize money. So we're going to be heading to that in just a moment. Will be, we'll see. I think the modifier was picked in the previous map. So now the map type itself is up for your vote. That's a lot of fun. And of course, the bounty is going to be pretty important. So make sure you get your mode selections in. We're going to be opening that up for voting in just a moment. Could be Gem Grab again, but I think I know where we're all going. Brawl Ball and Knockout are available selections here. And I think we've been big fans of Brawl Ball in the chat so far, and I don't expect things to be any different here. And again, that means that I get to choose the bounty for Brawl War, which is going to be a ton of fun. The map is going to be cool shapes, for those that are wondering, if we get Brawl War picked. And yeah, looks like that was the case. Brawl War wins with 68% of the vote. Yeah, you guys aren't messing around. Big Brawl Ball fans out there, and I appreciate it. Definitely the most popular, I think, game mode in Brawl Stars. Well, the whole tournament only have that game mode. So that means I get to choose the bounty. Very good. I can choose most goals or first team to score a goal. Last time I chose first team to score a goal, so now the bounty will be the team at the end of the set that has scored the most goals, which, as you probably know, is most likely to be the team that wins the set, but not guaranteed. So there you go, I'll make it simple. Win the set, virtually win yourself the bounty. Team with the most goals wins.
Big set right here, little extra cheddar. Very likely, like you said, to win. If they scored less goals and lost, that would just be heartbreaking to not only lose a set, but also a bounty. That would be one tough look.
Double or nothing, baby.
Doubling down here, win and in as well for Crazy Raccoon. They would have an extra life. Rival Esports would be knocked down to that lower bracket, would be fighting, and one more to get to our grand finals. This map, Cool Shapes, is also a very interesting one as well. A lot of random indestructible walls, some random patterns of grass. It is exactly what the name entails. You'll guys see what I mean when we get there, but just a bunch of cool shapes.
Yeah, it's, again, not just for aesthetics. The bushes are definitely relevant on this particular map, as you sort of see. And, of course, our team spawn diagonally, which we saw it make a difference when, like, there was a bot spawning on the map, for example. Here, again, if you can sort of take control of the top or bottom of the map, you can sneak early goals.
Would love to see a Daryl here. I think Gale makes a lot of sense as well. I feel like for Brawl Ball specifically, we haven't seen anybody quite reinvent the wheel or get too crazy with it yet. Would love to see some dynamic strategies come through. Maybe something like a buzz for some stuns. I don't know. Just kind of making a wish list here. This is competitive in a sense, but also I like seeing some fun here today. It's the September Spectacle. Would love to see some mayhem and some crazy picks out here.
Just a few moments away from jumping into Brawl Ball. Look, a lot of the brawlers that have been popular on this map, we've seen in other maps, right? Bell has been popular. Max has definitely been picked up. Gale almost seems like a must-have here. We've seen a couple of teams mix the Gus in, right? That extra shielding is big. Melody, hotly contested. Definitely a brawler the teams are constantly trying to get involved. Daryl has been there, of course, with those 2 charges of the barrel roll. Super, allowing you to basically shoot the ball and catch up to it instantly. He's the consummate dribbler in Brawl Ball. So, see if that's going to be the pick. Yeah, wow, how about that? No, it's going to be Gale, Melody, Daryl, and we'll have a Bell to round it out for Crazy Raccoon.
I think Mo might have be picked on, I mean, I can't recall a single set where he really hasn't been played here. Melody, again, makes a lot of sense, not just for the cool trick shot potential, but because you get a lot of supers. There's a little bit of an out there pick. We get the Leon Fang, a fan favorite at home. The people are going to get some action there. It's hard to get the takedowns with him, but he does bounce off quite well against 5 different brawlers. But these pro players, not easy to fool. They can focus him down rather quickly and get a takedown if they're not careful.
Yeah, Fang. We've seen it basically be very feast or famine. You often see Fang getting blown up sort of en route with his super, trying to charge him. But look, if Fang can connect and if he can get a stun follow-up, then he can cycle that super. He can be a real menace. We're going to jump in straight away here. Crazy Raccoon, top of your screen in blue. Rival Esports in the red. A lollipop drop already deployed here for the Leon.
Shu going to be on the right-hand side, rocking the Fang. People at home going to be watching closely there. A Bell battle in the mid for the long-range engagement. Of course, Tensai mirroring Kuru on the Mo. Some early connections here for CR are going to allow them to take a little bit of advantage. They're creeping their way forwards. Satapo looking like he's going to make a move. Goes for one dash. Now the second exhaust. All of that super. A pass over to Moya. Needs to get a little bit of
break the wall
here. Sakura has plenty of HP to work with, though, and will be able to force that one through.
Kenny, I'll be honest, the damage trades favoring Crazy Raccoon incredibly heavily off the rip. They just basically bullied their way through the map there. There's the dive from Shu, and, well, that ended about the way we've expected it to so far. Fang just not durable enough to survive as he goes in with a big super.
Super passover as well. Satapo already on the other end of the map. They're just so easily able to maneuver this entire map. And now that they've gotten a takedown,
buddy,
availability. So many blue brawlers circling around this ball. They're focusing takedowns, though, before they grab the ball. Shu not enough to get a takedown here. Moya just playing this patiently. They already have a 1-0 lead. They're not going to force it through, but they need to be careful because now Rival rearing their ugly heads. They're coming up the middle of this map.
The ball, though, is essentially cornered, though, by Moya. Really being a nuisance here, and able to set that super stun up to Melty, gets blown to smithereens instantly. Here comes Sitapo again. Yeah, hitting very, very hard with 3 notes out and ready to go, plus that gadget available. Needs to wait for the way to be cleared, though. Yumagoku's got a clear shot. Yeah, easy score. Crazy Raccoon take the first round of this set.
No surprise here. Another match point for CR. We've seen this on way too many occasions. We were with the small group of folks at home that pick Rival. I'm not going to lose hope yet. But I didn't take into account that there's already 3 great players in this team. Let's add 2 more and see what happens. I mean, that was a pretty dominant game right there in Brawl Ball, and they're looking poised to try and take that bounty right here and move on to the grand finals.
Pretty clean, honestly. The composition, very powerful, making good use of that Daryl. Obviously, Gale has been so hotly contested and such a powerful pick. The Leon is fine. Leon's such a very good mid-range brawler. The lollipop drop is reasonable if you're trying to avoid scrutiny from sharpshooters, but Yumagoku hits one person in that lollipop drop, he's hitting all of them.
The bounce shot definitely benefiting there. And I like the creativity with Leon. I think the lollipop drop, a good shout. Not necessarily paying off here, especially in a mode where you need Leon to be up in the enemy's faces. There's just so many brawlers to focus you down. Really hard one there, and a rare miss from a Bell Super as well. Milcreo trying to respond, missed the connection as well. Satapo going down. Rival once again early on the defense, though, and Tensai getting a big pickup. This could be trouble.
Oh, just so scary. The way that projectile explodes at the end of it gives you an unexpected amount of range. Sakura here. Still some barrel rolls available. And again, the ball always tends to get to the top of the map here, protected by a Crazy Raccoon Gale player. What a mark. Kuru's in deep trouble there. No way they're getting out alive. Shu and Melty need to respect this. Super available for Shu right now, but getting a little bit low. And Sakura comes straight on in. Good stun from Shu, but not nearly enough. There's too much durability, too much damage, too much swag. And Crazy Raccoon take the first goal of the second game.
Moya was even able to save the super. Rival in deep trouble here. Shu needs to make his super count. A super pass over, a dive in from Sakura.
Oh, boy!
Coming in just in the nick of time. Perfect timing from Ryohi. They need another one to hang on.
Rival had to do so much here to mimic a fraction of Crazy Raccoon's power. But that was very impressive. Good mechanical performance there from Rival. Moya, though, always at the top of the map, hanging out. Going to be forced away, though. Too many Rival players alive for the time being. And here comes Shu. Sakura is able to dodge the end of that super. Looks like they were still caught by a stun. This is still dangerous. But Satapo and Yumagoku healthy enough to defend.
Little fumbling of the ball, just trying to do their best to punch that one through. Not quite enough in the tank. Now Kuru all alone. 4 CR brawlers looking to move towards the top of this map. Milcreo marked up. Gets a major takedown onto Moya, though. But now Satapo, the big playmaker for their side, does have supers available. A dive in. Knows he has to take care of business here. It's going to be tough, though, with all these enemies. Here comes that Leon Hypercharge, though. They have to take advantage now.
Sakura dives away. Tensai somehow gets loose with the ball and is able to clear it. But Milcreo still threatening. Satapo taking damage. Ball crossed to Mikuro in the middle part of the map. Satapo trying to dive in, but Milcreo walks it over the line. Rival even it up 1 game apiece here. But Crazy Raccoon, in terms of the bounty, still lead by 1.
That was exactly where I was going with this, too. Still match point for CR, and they have a 1-goal lead here. So the only way that they can take away a bounty and survive is either a 1 or a 2-0 lead. We get into real interesting waters here if they tie in goal, Super. we do have a possibility.
That is true. What do we do then?
I don't know. That's
you know what? Yeah, I'm not paid to. I'm not paid to figure it out. That's okay. I'm not sorting that out. I'm definitely gonna hand that responsibility over to someone else. But we'll let you know what the deliberation will be on that. We get to it. Sakura trying to move up here. Okay, recoiling rotator. No one in particular. Does look pretty at least. Rival Esports now starting to move up. Ryohei threatening here from the bottom of the map. Shitapa Fent is a bit of argy-bargy. Wants to take the fight. And they win out against the Leon pretty comfortably. This is dangerous now. Sakura bounces the ball off the wall. Zhu has to super shock it out. But Crazy Raccoon have a lot of map control here and a big window, but somehow the one pesky snowman blocks it. This is getting messy. Greatly done by Melty, able to move the ball away from the face of goal. Kuru going to be caught out though by a Gale Force. Moya is low. Yumagoku can't come forward. It's still an issue of durability for Bell to get involved in that kind of fight. Behind enemy line, Sakura goes down, but still takes it. Milfrio with the Rival have the ball in a defensive spot. They're trying to move it up with Melty shepherding it up the wing.
Rival are just fighting for their lives to get to the midfield mark. Melty shepherding this ball forward. Tensai diving in, though. Likely not worth it. Does get that super off. Will narrowly survive. Smilcreo looks for those long-range engagements. Does grab one. Now it's Rival's turn to respond here. They need a goal, not just for the bounty, but also for their tournament lives.
Tensai got flat there at the bottom of the map. Keep an eye out for that opening now. Melty and Shu hoping to open it up. Shu playing safe, super in hand here for the Fang. Look out for that. Chitapa comes forward, able to super shot the ball away. Straight in the hands of Kuro. It's an open goal. It's an open goal. Rival get themselves a goal here in this second round and even up the total goal score for bounty purposes.
Bounty getting down to the wire. This match getting real interesting as Shu dives in. Sakura, though, does have a super shot available. Intercepted by Kuru. He's going to pocket it bottom right-hand side. Sakura, though, diving, trying to get this ball out. Shot finds the goal, too. CR tied things up.
Unbelievable. Sakura with a sliver of health. Completely clowning on Rival. Now we're going to an even game. 19 seconds left, but look at the Rival getting aggressive, and they walk it over the line. Oh, buddy, what a set. And great recovery there by Rival. Coming alive against a comp that looked like it was completely outdoing them in terms of damage output.
So what was the final count?
Listen, don't worry about that.
I'm just curious how your bounty turned out, Uber. Just curious. I guess we'll have to see what I didn't foresee this happening. I mean, honestly, I don't know who it's for. Maybe it's for both. Hard to tell. Most goals was the bounty. You picked a good one, to say the least.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, well, there has to be a winner. I think that, you know what? Okay, we might end up rolling it over to the next set. I think is it? Ooh. That's crazy. And also, so set three is Brawl Ball as well, because that's predefined, right? We have one map here that is sort of up to vote, so we're often getting double Brawl Ball sets. I'm doing it. I'm casting the Brawl Ball. I'm casting the Brawl Ball League. It's happening. I've been waiting for my chance, and I have it finally. Crazy stuff here. Look, seeing Rival bounce back, really impressive. They had the Fang Leon, which had me scratching my head a little bit. Just didn't seem quite as powerful as Crazy Raccoon's comp, but Rival, I think just on an individual level, looked incredible. Skill-wise, the way they moved the ball across the map and exploited this very small window.
I really liked it, too. The one thing I didn't really anticipate with Leon was that he kind of gets lost with the invisibility, right? When you're in a 3v3 situation, you can kind of keep everybody on track a little bit more. You can identify where your opponent's on, but this map is huge. So one hypercharge super from Leon really allowed him to kind of get to the other end rather quickly, kind of get those sneaky kills and takedowns. I don't know if it was worth it for the pick, but ultimately they won the set anyways, so can't complain here.
Yeah, again, I mean, like, not being revealed while you're shooting, right, in the hypercharge, that's pretty good. And there's so much happening on screen that it's really hard to keep track of. Obviously, Leon, one of the best brawlers in the game, once he's able to get close enough, all four of those shurikens connect, he's doing a ridiculous amount of damage. And hey, bring some utility, right? The lollipop drop in a pinch can definitely find value, especially if your Mo is, like, supering out from it, for example. You don't have as much time to respond. There are definitely ways where, like, you know, your sharpshooters can get an advantage. So I liked it. We also saw the Fang, this time tone it down a little bit, go for like single dives with the super, stun up like a Daryl, for example, to stop them in their tracks. just using like that utility a little bit more for the purposes of stopping someone who's threatening a goal, as opposed to winning this big shock and awe team fight where you cycle multiple supers and just and if you do that, you're probably going to win a round. It's just very unlikely. And maybe that's also what the low pop drops for. Like, make it hard to see this kind of stuff coming. You have less of a window to respond to it. Either way, Rival get it done with pure grit, determination, and they're forcing a decider set in this upper final.
Should be a really interesting one, and like you alluded to, it is going to be Brawl Ball once again. We're going to have our bounty carry over, so both these teams...
So we're restarting the count.
We're just going to restart it. Clean slate, and not only will you likely win the bounty, now you will, 1-1 scenario, win the set, and more importantly, the match. This is to determine who gets a guaranteed shot at our upper bracket grand finals to win it all for the whole month. You can skip the whole, but you have to win another match in the lower bracket. You just take advantage, make it through with a clean sweep. This would be huge for either team.
Yeah, I mean, the loser of this game would basically win the entirety of the spectacle would have to win, those 2 series in a row, which is a lot of Brawl to play. So, currently, the total goals for both these teams is tied at 4 and 4. So we're rolling that bounty over. It will still be in effect in this next map. And fingers crossed, we have a winner when we come out of Brawl Ball on the other side. 86% of you at home voted Crazy Raccoon. Myself and Kenny voted Rival. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of that individual talent that made us confident in what this team was able to do by picking up those couple FA Night Dug players. Going to be here in just a moment again. A little bit of a different map layout as teams are no longer diagonally spawning. They will be facing off in a more standard fashion. And those top and bottom corners of the goals will be open by default. Won't need to be broken open.
Be curious to see if we see any adjustments. Will they bring back the Leon, for example? Is Melody still going to shine through? I think Daryl is a nice one to have for the role. And to be honest, Mo, like I said earlier, it feels like he's shown up every time. We got confirmation. He showed up every set today except for one. So clearly he is a factor. There's a new one, though. We haven't seen Lou yet.
Lou. Okay, well, Lou's Hypercharge, very good. Can cycle multiple of them. The fact that it freezes you instantly as opposed to slowing you up and eventually accruing towards, a freeze could be powerful. Again, it's really about laning that ability. But hey, we're in 5v5. I like it. It's pure stopping power that doesn't necessarily put Lou in harm's reach like a Fang super would. So I'm here for it.
I am too. I think the insta-freeze is a big deal, and in 3v3, we see it on occasion, right? Lou, when his hypercharge was initially given to the game, he was one of the few of the hypercharge. We saw him at World Finals 2023 a bunch, and this year he's kind of faded out a little bit as more brawlers have expanded, he's gotten nerfed, etc. But having the ability to stop anybody in their tracks with an insta-freeze, especially in 5v5 where you now have 5 brawlers that can focus on that circle, that's some serious insta-kills. So I think those hypercharge are going to be a huge deal here. Tensai on the Lou is somebody we have to be watching out for.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Lou was one of the first brawlers to get a hypercharge, right? So eventually there were other candidates that, looked pretty good. It was like Lou and Spike were, like the nasty combination we saw a lot at the World Finals back in Jönköping. The game's changed since then. Still, also, even without hypercharge, that super, providing or sort of imposing a relative loss of control, like you lose that maneuverability inside of it. In a game where, in Brawl Ball 5v5, where you pass the ball so far, you can get caught out of position and give up a lot of map or even a goal if you're not careful. So I think that's a great pick. Obviously, Lou, well, how about that? Looks like the Crazy Raccoon comp already producing results.
Yeah, looking good so far. Fighting for a bounty, fighting for upper bracket, fighting for the grand finals. So looks like the Lou is paying off so far. Ryohei on the lower side of the map with a super pass over. He's going to a free goal alongside it. A quick tie up here.
Okay, Rival not messing around here whatsoever. Kuru's barely halfway through level 1 at this point, so Clancy still needs some time to ramp up. Ryohei had to get so close. Yumagoka, the good reaction, sends that Gale Force, but doesn't get a stun of Ryohei, so they're able to just walk away and get on with the job. Milk-Rio down, though. Rival are in deep trouble. Down to just 3 players, and those bell bounces are hitting hard. Ju now falls. Ryohei looking to at least get a kill here. Can't even do that against Tensai Moya. Too good. Rival constantly 1 or 2 players behind.
Having a pushback, a big deal here. Goes to the stun, now pass forward. It's going to be right into enemy hands, though. Maybe a little preemptive there. I think anticipating maybe Satampo diving in. Instead, though, it's going to be Rival moving the other way.
That Daryl roll very dangerous. When it knocks into you, you lose possession of the ball, and Daryl can steal it away. That's why it's so scary. Milkreo here, standing in the way of Sakura, but it's going to be a 1-for-1. Shu comes forward with the super to at least gain possession of the ball. Seems like a worthwhile investment now as Rival able to move the ball up. That top flank. Melty comes forward here. Tensai goes down. Lou struggling a little bit at mid to long range. It's not really the strongest poke down brawler in the game. Rio has that hypercharge up. That's looking scary. Sakura, Yumigoku stunned up here. Lou super though going to slow things down for Rival as Shitapo double dashes forward with that barrel roll. 12 seconds left in the round now, and it's even at 1-1.
Hypercharge available for Melty. And after this shot clock, all the walls are going to come down. The long-range shots from Moya Goku, good enough to bring down Shu. Sakura going to be moving this ball up. Now it's Blue with the advantage. Satampo going to have multiple supers available with that Daryl roll. The rework giving him a little bit of extra legs, but what a defensive effort here from Rival, and now a counter-attack incoming.
Now Melty wants to push out the middle of the map. Here is looking dangerous for Moya, trying to get away with the pressure coming in from the guy on the top of the map is almost too much. Oh, okay, Satampo to get forward. Loses possession of the ball when they barrel roll up, but Crater could have got some room now to breathe. Sakura has all-in potential here. Tensai with a super available, not a hypercharge though, so Kuru able to skirt around the edges of that blizzard. Shu also threatening that super. Both modes looking at each other, daring each other to hit that button. And Shitapo as well with the super ready for that extra mobility and the pick potential. They're going to dive into the bottom side of the map here, but elsewhere Shitapo falls. Now the Max looking scary. Melty helping, but a super pass to Yumigoku means the defender still have possession. 6 seconds left. Shitapo last standing, tries to get the ball away, but Kuru gets it over the line. And last set.
They take advantage. They have a match point, and very importantly, for our bounty, have now taken a lead. Big stuff coming in from them with 3 seconds to go, I might add. What an unbelievable effort there towards the end of that game. I'll remind you all, too, they were down 1-0 early. They really had to claw their way back.
Again, I mean, it's very hard to come into this game and predict a team, but we're in 5v5, for God's sake. It's crazy, Raccoon. You'd be called, you know, a little bit unhinged for picking against them, but we're seeing just how good Rival can be, and the Lou pick, for me, so far, has not panned out. I get the idea. That hypercharge super, so good, but we really haven't seen that work out yet.
Haven't seen the best from it. We need to see some hypercharge connections, a little rotation to super. It's hard, though. I mean, it's not the easiest brawler to play right now, especially when there's easier ones out there like Gale, for example. But Tensai putting in some good work. Already has a super charged up as well. Curious to see when he decides to initiate with that. Can be great for covering up the map, not granting any easy access points towards moving around. And mobility, of course, going to be a huge factor here on this wide open map.
Yeah, maybe not Riohead not accounting for maybe the fact that he was slowly getting stunned up there by the Lua after he took the shot. Still, Shu able to do with Sakura. The Rival here in a pretty comfortable position. Kuru's going to move up, super available here. Build up some of those credits here. Clancy not quite a raid boss yet. See there, it doesn't really work out at the bottom of the map, but Tensai is marked at least.
Sakura going to be fighting on this top side as well. Little damage. Fire going to be keeping the red side plenty weak as Melty receives some fire. Satampo diving in, diving out, trying to stay up. A nice connection from Milkreo, but he will narrowly survive. Moya needs to make some big time taps. Kuru letting loose. Not a lot there.
Vamos a ver Crazy Raccoon. Sabéis que quien gane el balón Brawl gana, ¿no? Podría ser nuestro primer fallo, nuestro primer error. Nuestro primer error del día. Tenemos un 100% de acierto de momento. No me lo digas, no me lo contés.
They more than earned it. That was a heck of a set to watch.
Absolutely. Brilliantly done here. And again, up against the Lou, you know, we can see it be fairly threatening, and obviously it takes a little while for Clancy to get going, but I mean, that goal from Shu, pretty astonishing stuff. Mo is so good here. Look at this. Second super? Yes, please. Maybe the interaction with Mo and you know, multiple super shots might be looked into a little bit at some point, but very powerful here. And again, both teams made extensive use of Mo. In fact, there's only been one set in which Mo hasn't been picked. He's been picked in every set but Rivals versus Angelic in set number 1, which is a knockout map. So every gem grab, every brawl ball, you can basically expect to see Mo there right now. He is that good. And that means that Crazy Raccoon have been vanquished down to the lower bracket to fight a second chance for a rematch against Rival. It's going to be CR versus Angelic.
It's going to be a fun one, too. Bounties on the line in the future as well, so still more money to be acquired. Glory as well. And like you said, Mo showing up everywhere. Some things don't change from 3v3.
Yeah, absolutely. Very powerful brawler. I just think, like, again, he has quite long range, got a great kit in general, and can do some pretty disgusting things to you on Brawl Ball. But that's what a lot of these brawlers have been picked for. It's the same thing, like we see Melody coveted on quite a few occasions. Daryl, very good, because also he can deny possession of the ball from someone by running into them with that super. It has that brief knock-up that will always sort of guarantee that they have the ball stripped from them. Event.brawlstars.com. Make sure your votes are still coming in because, of course, we still have 2 entire series left where you'll have the opportunities to vote not only for a map, but also for the modifier. So far, you guys haven't been too creative today. You've basically been picking the same.
Well, way to call him.
We'd like to think. Yeah, no, I'm going to call it out. You guys boring. Let's mix it up a little bit. I'd like to see different votes here in terms of at least our modifiers. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. Lower finals right around the corner.
The Snapdragon Pro Series Brawl Stars Championship is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Esta respuesta es F. Ha perdido Chris y Racon y nos haya decepcionado un poco, la verdad. No pasa nada, no hay problema porque lo vamos a conseguir igual, ¿vale? Lo vamos a conseguir bastante fácil, así que no os preocupéis, de verdad. De corazón os lo pido. Que no os preocupéis. Bueno, pues ahora ya... Claro, deberíamos de ir con Chris y Racon. Esta vez no me la voy a jugar por Angelic. ¿Qué ha hecho Zenkai? Zenkai, ¿qué has hecho? Estoy a punto de quitártelo, el moderador. ¿Quién paga la predicción? Voté a Angeli por ti. ¿Alguien sabe cómo votar? Acabamos de votar. Podéis votar ahora mismo. Tenéis unos minutos para votar. Yo votaría por Chris y Racon. ¿Habrá más premios para EMEA? No. EMEA serán los mismos, creo. En la página, gente, en la página de Brawl Star Events.
Good decision, Kenny. As much as we love Angelic, as good as they looked at vanquishing Na'Vi and knocking them out of the tournament, Crazy Raccoon, I mean, they're a different beast.
Different beast. They've kept it close all night. And it's hard to bet against them ever. 14% of us brave folks out there, including you.
A ver qué es lo que has hecho. ¿Quién ganará? Ah, bueno, que has hecho una predicción, ¿no? Simplemente. Está bien, no está mal. Lo que sí te pido es que lleves cuidado al entregar la recompensa porque si te equivocas la lías, ¿eh? Que flipas, además. Voté por Angelic. Os la habéis jugado mucho, ¿eh? Os la habéis jugado mucho. Yo creo que ya en el loser bracket La tiene que ganar Crazy Raccoon 100%, ¿eh? Mira, esa es la página event.brawlstar.com, ¿vale? Ahí es donde podéis pues hacer las predicciones tal y como yo las estoy haciendo para que consigáis todas las recompensas. Yo ya las tengo todas en la cuenta principal, lo estoy haciendo en la cuenta secundaria. Hemos tenido bastante fortuna acertándolo todo, así que... Soba, que he votado en la predicción y no sabía que luego no podía elegir el resultado. No pasa nada, Zenkai, porque la elijo yo y ya está. Grande, Juancho. Muchas gracias, tío. Bueno, pero eso no es liarla. No puede dar el ganador. Lo doy yo, no pasa nada. Buenos días, guapetón. Un saludito, tío. El señor tieso ahí, con ese gorrito. Crazy Raccoon versus Angelic. Empieza la partida. ¿Todos sabes por qué no aparece en la skin de fan? No aparece en la Supercell Store, ¿no? No sé por qué. Hola, Soba, soy nuevo. Bienvenido, tío. ¿Qué tal? ¿Vosotros estáis preparados para que yo grabe vídeo en directo? Porque va a ser todo en plan... Bienvenidos, chicos. Sí, ¿cómo estamos? No, así no es. Es como... Es más como... Es más así como... Bienvenido a tu dosis diaria de Brawl Estrellas.
Unfortunately, they're going to have to go through Angelic to do so. I don't think Crazy Raccoon, when it comes to the top of the list, the most feared enemies.
Hola, Soba, soy nuevo y sub. Blue Panda, bienvenido, tío. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Cómo podremos unirnos a ti? ¿A mí? Ah, pondré código, chicos. Para el vídeo pondré código. Hola, Soba, ya se puede predecir EMEA. Sí, lo sé, gente, pero nos esperaremos a luego. Porque yo ahora mismo no tengo ni idea. Bueno, a ver, sí tengo idea, pero... Te salió igual a un youtuber llamado Soba. Me inspiré en él. Pregunta,